Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Old World. We're back with another intense match. Old World Arena showcasing Nizar versus Alcaras, and we left off at a very tense point in the game. Solver is with us from Mohawk Games Studio. Say hello, Solver.
Yeah, hello again. I found the previous part so entertaining that I decided to join Siontific once again instead of sleeping, and I'm sure that the players will know why that decision is a very good one.
Yes, of course. Who needs sleep? Who needs to pay attention to the real world when you have the loving embrace of the old one to comfort you all day long? Let's see if I can get my link. Oh, we are posted live. All right. Thank you, Filthy Robot, for posting the link live if you're already in the chat watching. Much appreciated. I was literally just about to post that. So thanks for that. And yeah, so we are live. And if you're watching after the fact on YouTube, we appreciate you being here. Give us a like, subscribe, hop on over to the Mohawk YouTube channel. Check out the playlist there if you haven't caught up on most of the tournament action yet. And join the Discord to join the conversation and learn more about the game or just talk with people. Find us on Reddit as well. We have an Old World Reddit. All the fun social stuff. All right, Solver, where did we leave off?
That is a good question. So I am looking at the map. We did, as far as I remember, leave off after a major battle here at the almost central city of Leptis Magna, originally a Carthaginian city, so
Yep.
Alcaras, of course. Been turned several times and was not captured by anyone at any time. The players did wipe out something like 40 turns of military buildup and are now down to a very little army after having killed somewhere between 2 and 3 armies in their epic battle. How long was that battle? It was a dozen turns or so, right?
Yeah, at least 10. I mean, I think the average major conflict is normally lasts about 10-ish turns, but I feel like that was a long one. It might have been 15, 20-ish. Somebody joked at the end of last session, and I like it, so I'm going to paraphrase it, but they essentially beat each other back to turn 30, which feels very true. If we take a look at the power graph. Sorry, if we take a look.
We were having so much fun that it was a much shorter battle than I thought. I'm looking at the graph, it was 5 turns maybe, right?
Yeah. It's entirely possible. I'll be curious what Nizar chooses to do here. We do have a couple ballista. We have a ballista coming up. We have a couple Hastasti coming up. We have Chariot, which will be decent enough. Another Hastasti in Rome. But it's entirely possible that this session could kind of fall back and be a little bit of a build-up session. I remember after my first opening conflict in my previous match that did not go in my favor, by the way. I spent the entire next session, happened to be like another 2 or 3 hour session. I backed off and I just built up economically. Nizar is still in range here. He is more of an aggressive player, but he could try to hang back, build himself back up a little before trying to go in for the killing blow. Alcaras is looking a little weak. Both players' military score has plummeted. Actually, you know what? It looks like this was a really quick conflict. We're sitting with like, 15, 20 turns of conflict. I think it's just because the time...
It was just like 5.
Yeah, I know. It's just... Time stops, and that's what it's like when you're even in single-player games, by the way. Like, I can play the first 60 turns, 50 or 60 turns of Old World in, like, 1 hour. But then the next 60 turns takes me, like, 8 hours or 6 hours, because once I start fighting stuff and fighting wars, it's like that's when the turns climb to a crawl in terms of pacing and, what's going down. So yeah, I think what we'll see here is Nizar kind of back off for a second. He's got 1 turn on a Hestastus, another 4 turns, a Chariot, a Ballista coming out, and I think he's going to think to himself, recognizing maybe I should have waited for a Ballista or 2, or certainly taken the opportunity to rush one in to the conflict. I think we both remarked on that last time that Nizar had the ability to rush at least once or twice some early ballistas that would have sped this up in his favor, and he just kind of tried to blunt force in without them. Politics in Rome is two upset families and a cautious. Over in Carthage, we're looking at only one upset family, but just barely. Cautious and the Hananids, and very nice, friendly opinion with the riders, which is certainly great for him because that's going to be another nice thing since the majority of his units are riders units. So that's going to be a combat swing of about 10 to 15%, depending on which units are fighting each other. So that's another thing that you have to consider in this type of game, in these conflicts, which I love, by the way. I love the way that the political situation inside of a nation actually interfaces in this type of game, like the 4X, nation building genre. In an arena where it really matters, which is, combat, right? So, like, it's harder to fight a war if your politics isn't handled, and I like that a lot.
And while you were summarizing the state of the game, maybe you also want to remind the viewers where the players were in terms of technology, where they were headed.
Sure, yeah. We do have machinery. In the tech I don't even know how to say that. Being researched currently for the Carthaginians. It looks like, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 laws. So we're 2 laws away from 7 for the Carthaginians. I think we're pretty close for the Romans, aren't we? To 7 laws. Take a look. I also remember there's only like 2 elephants, or is it this exact same position? Yeah, all right. 5 laws for the Romans. Monasticism up. What are we researching here? We're researching free war elephant, which I find an interesting pick considering we have, compo and monasticism both in the hand right now. He could be thinking maybe he wants steel or land consolidation, I suppose. I don't know. Science. We will look at science. Where are we in terms of science? Right, so Nizar, I remember this. Nizar had a nice lead throughout the game, and this is the other issue that he has in that's going to be playing against him, kind of like in the looming over his game progress like a specter, is he had a solid science lead from a very strong, impactful opening ruler who has finally died. And now he's sitting here with a 15 to 20 science deficit from Alcaras, with a strong economic player who builds his nations well, and we have seen that Nizar has largely gone into military development mode, right? Which, of course, Alcaras is forced into the same position, but even Alcaras is still building a poet in the capital, which I love. So yeah, he's the one with one city down, being aggressed against, and he's the one who's actually building a specialist. So classic Alcaras, finding a way to get just a little bit of greed in there somewhere. But, long term, if Alcaras can hold this, that could prove to be a problem, and the momentum could start swinging slowly back in his favor.
Yeah. Right, it was very Alcaras. I think also during the big battle, he somehow spent a few orders on building improvements.
Mm-hmm.
Nizar was not doing that. Nizar's workers were just anything in order to maximize orders for the military. So.
Well, you know what I think is that's another thing that's fascinating about the overall design of the game, and why I think the order situation, frankly, is just like one of the most brilliant mechanics of the types of games that come out of this genre. Even the old world is like pretty much one of the only ones that has it. It's because, it does create an offensive versus defense advantage, right? It's just significantly easier to defend than it is to offense. So if you're going on offense, you want to make sure you have all the right advantages behind you, because it costs less orders to defend a city. It costs less orders to reinforce on the defense than it costs to reinforce a front line that you're, on the offense. And then, of course, because of that discrepancy, it actually does a little bit allow some leeway here for you to because normally if you're in a full-scale war, yeah, you're stopping almost all economic development. But if in the offense versus defense situation, yeah, in some situations the defending player will have a few extra spare orders lying around that they can build another mine or build another barracks or something else. But if you're in Nizar's position where he's thinking, I want to end this game now, and he's definitely a player who gets his head into that headspace of like, all right, let's do it, let's go. Yeah, he's going to stop his economic development, freeze it almost entirely, and spend all of his orders and all of his mindset on military movements. So it can definitely backfire. It's such an interesting interplay. Welcome to the chat, everybody. We have about 10 of you live with us, so thanks for being here. Hello, Soren. Hello, Fluffy Bunny. And again, thanks again, Filthy, for the chat link. Hello, Boldest.
Yes, so Soren is a bit skeptical of or surprised by Nizar's retreat, but I'm not surprised by that, especially given the impact of morale, because he sent in one wave and that got killed, he sent in the second wave and that got killed, so even though he was also killing a lot of Carthaginian units,
yeah,
still at some point, seeing two full armies disappear, that has to encourage you to retreat.
Yeah,
but it will probably not be a very long one. I'm expecting another wave, a couple ballistas finally that we've been wanting to see, and then because another big thing here is that Nizar still has his encouraged hero on this road.
Yeah, I think I think a thing that factors into that, interestingly enough, something as simple as the fact that these 3 forts down here by Leptis Magna got occupied by Carthaginian units. Because the thing is that keeps this border neutral, because I don't think it creates a good opportunity. Back when this game was first starting up, we had a couple of scattered units here. We had an onager still out in the open. This onager got moved back to these hills. And I think the retreat is largely in the fact that, like, Nizar could have probably kept hunting down units, but he would still be in a position where he's trading back and forth. And I just think it is a bit smarter. He had 1 turn off of the Hystastus, a couple, 1 turn off the chariot. He has a new chariot right now, which can make it all the way to the front line in 1 turn. The ballista coming. So I actually do think it's a little bit smarter for him to kind of take a second and maybe get all of his firepower on 1 region. But of course, that does give Alcaras more time to get stuff as well. Alcaras has an elephant coming online, another elephant in Thapsus that's going to be in rushing range eventually, I suspect. So yeah, it's certainly a tricky situation because, again, if we look at that power score, both of our players, they were trading kills. Like, Alcaras started stronger in that, actually. And he pretty much ended slightly stronger. And I don't mean stronger in terms of power rating, but I mean actual military score, just a little bit more than Nizar. So Nizar never got quite enough momentum that the battlefield didn't look even at all times to him from his perspective. So it probably feels especially risky to kind of stay in the fight and just keep bashing your head against a wall that's just not coming down. There
is some interesting event stuff going on. We may recall that in the first part, Alcaraz had the mysterious sword, but then it never turned into sword. It
never fired, yeah.
But the previous turn now, Nizar got the mysterious sword and it upgraded. So
are you kidding me?
Now, yes,
oh my god!
The Ten Courage Queen has the Sword of the Gods now.
The gods are quite literally smiling upon Nizar in this match. Because let's not forget, Alcaraz also had the misfortune of having his starting ruler, his schemer, I believe it was, get knifed by a tribal event about 20 turns into the game as well. So between that and actually acquiring the mysterious sword, he had the mysterious sword for a while. Alcaraz had it for like 15, 20 turns or some shit. And it
never... he had it for a while and it never upgraded.
Yeah, and it never upgraded. Yeah, the ruler passed on before it upgraded. That's kind of funny. And Nizar gets it one turn later. He's got the Sword of the Gods. So this actually was brought up in the previous stream, just as a reminder for folks. It's plus 50% combat strength, and that's not even just attack. I actually forget about that. It's not even attack. I actually always assume it's just on the offense, but it's both. It's both attack and defense. That's wild, and it makes you immune to critical hits. So I suspect Nizar is going to try and take advantage of that. I believe it's against infantry, yes. Just infantry. And, all right, we have gone in for a kill. The queen is currently... Where is she? Is she governing?
The queen is currently governor in the champs.
Oh, she's in the champ seat. Well, I mean, that'll probably change shortly, I suspect.
Yeah.
I'd love to see her get on a chariot.
She's the master.
This would be... Look at this.
She's a master contributor to training.
Dear God, look at this. Look at this. If you put this if you put this queen on a chariot, not only should you get the 1+1 move, because that's always awesome on a mounted unit, you get plus 39 attack from the training, and then 50. That's almost a nearly 100% combat bonus.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Wow.
He should be on a unit of 4. He should be on a unit, and therefore he will be.
Well, maybe we'll see that come into play. Imagine if Nizar just doesn't catch it. That could be a thing. We've seen that happen in games before where, especially even with the sword, we've had some economic rulers. Because I think even at the start, if you have something like a scholar that's governing and they end up with the Sword of the Gods, that's a decent enough case to pull them out of the city for a little bit and go off and clear tribal camps. And we'll see players elect not to do that as well. And maybe Nizar... I mean, it is boosting the training in the city by 14, so that's certainly not nothing. But I think hopefully he'll bring it out for some stabby time. We're going for portcullis, okay. I don't hate that. I don't hate that because we have 3 scouts in the area. Nizar's done a very good job of scouting, and you know what? He'll just have a significantly easier time reading the situation for himself if he can put agents in Thapsus, Caralis, and then pop one in the capital. That'll be nice. Yep, and as suspected, the real risk here of trying to take Lectus Magna, which he did elect to do. I understand the onager fire, the persistent onager fire. I think that's fine. Kill units, that's fine. But yeah, all of these archers in the region made quick work of the chariot that went in, and I suspect we will see a dead spear. Yep, and we are now in another fort. These forts are really coming in clutch. So I think this is a great example. Sometimes players have asked, how do you use forts? I think if you check out my game with Aaron, you'll get a nice lesson on how not to use forts. And if you check out this match right here, you get a nice lesson on how forts can come in clutch and handy for you. Local training. Yeah, she makes 14, in case you didn't catch it when I mentioned it. All right. Interesting. I mean, there's still some solid output all across Rome. So, I mean, maybe just trying to keep aggress and punch a hole through this will work out for Nizar. But I think if it's going to work out, if you're going to stage like this, I think you don't want to do little forays because that was still a 1 to 2 unit trade. And you don't want to keep doing that over and over again because that's not going to work out in your favor. Oh, chat, by the way, how is audio between myself and Solver? He hasn't really spoken too much since he's been in here, so I tend to chew up the airtime, but Solver, why don't you say a thing or two?
Yeah, I hope I am fine. At least nobody has complained so far, and if somebody complains, let's see what we can do about it. And while I am on air, another thing I remembered this game was the food situation for Alcaraz, which was also quite bad in terms of his economy because he is negative on food,
Yeah.
and food is now costing 15 a piece, which of
Yeah.
course makes the elephants very, very expensive. So one elephant is now looking, almost 1,700 gold to buy an African elephant.
Yeah.
So even with
He is
that,
starting to
traders'
work on that a
income,
little bit finally, which is nice. He had the granary here. He's got lots of really good terrain for food improvements. So hopefully, maybe even after this barracks gets finished, he can send this guy over here to start building more food, or more farms rather. Because that piles up, and traders. I mean, this is the power of traders, right? It's like this unit is 1,600 gold to buy. And because of the traders' income here, we're getting 629 income from the Carthagos, 135 from Thapsus, right? So the majority of this income is literally just two cities on the coast improving pearls and shit, right? And because of that, the cost of the food here, even though we have a negative food income, right? We could still we still have effectively enough income to purchase that food every 3 turns, right? So traders really does power through, but the other risk about that the game goes longer, you really don't have to rely on that too much, because I mean, 1,600 gold for an elephant is a lot.
yeah. So the trader's income is of course fantastic, but at these prices, even that is not very sustainable. So Alcaraz has 2 cities where he can build elephants. He ideally wants both of them building elephants, and just has enough income to get to buy an elephant every other turn.
Yeah.
And those prices keep going up, of course. Meanwhile, Nizar is much better in terms of his rural
Yeah, which
field.
is absolutely, which is why it would be smart. Like, he's building a theater in the capital. I don't really quite understand that, but Alcaraz loves his specialists. So that's another thing that, I mean, every worker in he's even building lumber mills, which I get on some level. He's building a barracks, which also makes sense. That's valuable. But honestly, something that I do in this type of situation, and people who have caught my Iron game might have noticed that, because after the very first battle of that game, I had zeroed out my economy entirely. I went into the second half of that game, literally with no income stream. I had no money, and I had all of my resources except for like 2. I don't think any of them were higher than 10 or 15, and a couple of them were negative, right? So I just no income. And in a situation like that, what I think you should do is fix your deficit by focusing on it. So in this case, Alcaraz has, let's take a look here. Alcaraz has 10 workers. Yep, he has 10 workers. I honestly, in this situation, think every single worker should be building a farm right now. Because if you do the math on that, even if it's something like a 7 food farm, right? I think the average farm gives like 6 or 7 food. If you multiply that by 10, all of a sudden in 3 or 4 turns, depending on where the farm's being built, we have like 50 food per turn. It takes no time at all to dedicate your entire workforce to just the single improvement that you need to make up a deficit. And honestly, I don't even care where it is. Let's say I need iron. I'll take this worker. I'll put it right here and build a mine. I don't care. It's just because if I do it with all 10 of them, in 3 turns, my iron will spike. Of course, I'll like search for hills and stuff where I can, but if I don't have hills nearby and I want to build a mine with this worker, I just put it right there. Put it wherever I can, because the thing is like, fix your deficit. Don't keep digging yourself into a economic hole. At least that's my thoughts on that.
Right, so that is definitely one of the things you say a lot, and one of the moves you teach a lot. Just take all your workers and build what you need right there, right now. So
Yeah.
that's a scientific economic maneuver.
Yeah, the food price is massive. as everywhere. And it just went. Look, it just because as that's the other thing. As these elephants come out, he's getting another elephant next turn. That's going to be another -4 food. So we started as high as something as like -20. I think we got low to like -8, and now we're at -12. Next turn, it's going to go back up to -16, plus or minus whatever food. This food will finish. But this elephant will finish. That's another reason why it's like literally just take every single worker you have and build a farm right now. Especially while you have the breathing room, right? Alcaras is staging. Alcaras is getting set up for the next battle. While you have this breathing room to waste some orders on econ, are we going to see a farm? No, we're going on a chopping spree. Okay, well, that's fine, I guess. I mean, we can still, again, we do have the money for food. But... In fact, the other thing I would actually say, in this situation, let's go actually look over at... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, one thing that might make sense, too, would be to just buy the food outright at all times, because that gets you at the lowest price constantly, but I suppose it doesn't matter if you're the only one on the map with a deficit. Okay.
Oh, and of course, his capital is close to being legendary.
Yep.
Which itself will cost more food, so that will add to the deficit.
Oh, that's true. That's true, right? It's going to jump up. That's going to jump up. That's great. Another reason to spam more farms. That's funny. And this is the major difference, right? We've seen some people who have decent resource economies, but they run a negative gold. And by a negative deficit, I mean like 100 or 200 gold, right? And honestly, as the game drags on and these resource prices jump higher, it's significantly easier to tank a gold deficit than it is a resource deficit. And I don't think a lot of players realize that. Like, if you have negative 200 gold, sometimes you don't want to build a hamlet. You just want to build quarries or farms and just sell the food and stone. Because long term, you're actually going to make more money that way, which is a bit paradoxical. And that's one of the reasons why there's always a kind of conversation around in Discord about, like, you know, how strong or how valuable is something like the market line, or like, and they are powerful, by the way, but it's just very particular, very niche, very targeted way to make use of them, because very often with the way these games go on and these resources prices increase, honestly, you just, as long as you keep your resource economy humming along with to the tune of like 100 or 200 resources per turn, I mean, you'll be able to plow through and tank any gold deficit that comes your way. It's going to be not a real big issue. Yeah, and so this is an interesting also idea here. Fluffy saying that it would be very interesting to see Nizar take a look at this economy here and elect to build a bunch of farms in his empire, and then he could take advantage of selling food as a way to prop his economy up. And that's certainly a very powerful response to the economic situation. Of course, I imagine in a head-to-head duel like this, when you're going back and forth and there's so much tension, it's hard to keep your eyes up top and really make an evaluation of the economy going on. But certainly one thing to do. Certainly one thing you can do, rather. Yeah, so there's a 20 science lead on Carthage at the moment. And I suspect... the ballista is nearby, which is much better for these forts. You can finally do some damage here. And there'll be another opportunity to kill this. Actually, I think Leptis Magna is gonna swap back over.
Yeah, it will.
Which honestly, I don't even think you want as Carthage. Maybe you do, but maybe you don't. Because really all that's going to create is a city that's going to keep getting harassed, and the discontent level is going to climb. tricky to. I guess it takes a little bit extra effort to knock down that city HP, I suppose. But really, it might actually be beneficial to just be fighting in this neutral territory for Alcaras. Although you get that combat bonus. I forget. This is a statesman city, though. I don't think we have a lot of statesman units. We don't.
Yeah, that is a statesman. Well, one thing I see Nizar is maybe not picking up on now is that his capital has no governor, but there are some great candidates. He has one candidate who double his national money income, and an even better one that gives +8 science and +4 happiness and other goodies.
Yeah.
So some very, very good candidates.
Yeah, that's fantastic, especially because his big deficit right now is science, and he has 2 different available 8 science governors in that capital. That's unfortunate. Yep. We'll keep an eye on that and make sure that he can... Oh, it looks like Alcaras might have burned that fort and backed off. Makes sense. It's out in the open. You don't really want to stand there too much, I suppose. And it's going to be in the way of more onager fire. So maybe he wants to give Nizar one less thing he can stand in should he come in with this ballista and take a big whack at that fort. Of course, now it's in friendly territory, so that's the other benefit. Yes. Nizar is asking for the control... Ooh, interesting. That's interesting. It bugs. I didn't realize you could even use the turn replay in live network play. Ah, interesting. Okay, so apparently there's a little bugginess if the one player uses the replay function while another player is taking that turn. Oh, interesting. I'm learning things through this conversation right now. Yeah, there's a little replay feature up here in the top corner. Allows you to see the movements that your opponents make. Typically, it's enabled. By default, it is disabled in network play. But the host can press Control-Shift-X to enable it and allow you to press the button. And that will, on your turn, let you see all of the different moves that your opponent make. It's a good way to catch any sneaky scout movements or catch particular movements that you might not have been paying attention to while your opponent has been taking their turn.
Nizar has also started to build mills because now, of course, he has the technology and he is not wasting
that's so
any
great.
time on
Yeah.
that. There are mills coming up.
Great. Let's take a look. Where are we seeing some mills?
Yeah, there's one in the capital, and there's another in the state seat. Yeah.
This is hugely important because that's the other thing. The ballista is the obvious thing in terms of power spike, but then the economic benefits of hydraulics is just quite good. And going back to the idea that Nizar's deficit right now, I would argue his main weakness is the potential for this long-term science gap to grow between himself and Alcaras. So getting those mills up is quite a lot of potential here. He can put 4 in the capital. He can put 2 in every single city except for Sirminium, until like 9 turns, and then another 3rd one in Mogantium. So that's about 4 science per city at least, which will be huge, plus the economic benefits.
Yeah, he is set up in many ways quite solidly for the long term.
Yes. Nizar, I think, is, interestingly enough, is that the other thing that can be surprising, because that they kind of implied, or as could be implied by what I said about my game against Aaron, is typically when you go all in, that can be very taxing, right? Especially if you're just really thinking, I'm going to end that game. So you just throw everything into it behind it. So it can be possible to end a skirmish like this, a battle like this, have to retreat, and then be stuck with a shitty economy. And fortunately for Nizar, that didn't happen. His economy's fine. He has a bit of a science deficit, but whatever, it's going to come online. Yeah, he's in a solid position. He could be in a lot worse off position for having. I wouldn't. Well, no, I would call this a win for Carthage because Carthage didn't lose the game, and I think that was a potentially game-ending push from Rome. Yeah, so it's very easy to lose a battle in Old World and be in a very bad position after it. And Nizar is. I think he's in a fine spot. I think he can work with what he has.
More interesting things I want to note for Alcaraz. One is that today Carthage went to a slightly positive food income thanks to Leptis Magna, which is producing a little bit of food even without improvement there. And the other thing is that Alcaraz has been picking. He has had some events where he could do things other than ambitions, but he picked ambitions.
Mm-hmm.
And so in 7 turns, he's going to fail to legacy. There is no way to complete those, which will, of course, be a hit for legitimacy. So that will be a -10 legitimacy that he cannot do anything about.
He actually has this late ambition to build the amphitheater and the heated bath in the city. And I don't think... He has architecture in his hand, but I really don't think architecture is a thing that you want to grab in this current situation. Maybe after machinery you can spring for it, but I don't know. Tough call. I think you're going to want to match now that you can see ballistic. What?
You are saying that the gods are really playing for Nizar. They are, because Alcaraz just got 3-5 lumber mills pillaged by wildfire.
Along with whatever neutral. Oh wait, no. Are there any other neutral forests? I mean, maybe there's one tile, but yeah. So there you go, Alcaraz. He's gonna have to go back and repair all the things that he just finished. I love that. I love when that happens. It's such an annoying thing. That happened. You know what? That happened to Nizar in his game against Yagman. Yeah, Nizar had a forest about this size down here in the Monterey Pine. He put a lumber mill in the whole thing, and literally by the time he finished the last lumber mill, the entire forest was burnt down because of a wildfire. And that's just so rich. It's so good. Oh man. Okay. Well, he's going to have to take some more work returns dealing with that before he can build some farms in the north, I suppose. What else is happening? Politics in Carthage is fine, and we did say politics in Rome was not the best. Yeah, we're on the border of angry with 2 of our families, which is not ideal. Thankfully, the Champions is going fine. Maybe if we can do... Are we doing some conversions? Awesome. Nice to see this. This is nice on Nizar. We're getting some religious conversions onto our characters in the other 2 families because we have a solid 156 positive opinion with the Jewish faith, and that will help rebound a little bit of this political situation for us. So that's nice to see Nizar making work of that. Do we have metaphysics? We do not. We can't double up.
Yeah, Nizar has been, I think, aware of this whole game, so he has definitely been noticing the benefits of Judaism. Unfortunately, he just has some bad luck, as a couple families insist on sticking to paganism, and the Roman pagan face, the Roman pagan leader, as we can see by his face, is quite a grumpy guy, so this is not the best situation.
He has his work.
Yeah, Nizar is doing everything he can.
Yeah. He has his work cut out for him here, converting these families, because there's 4 pagans in the patron seat, and there's another 3 pagans in, 4, including the oligarch. I think 1, 2, 3. Honestly, I think if he just converts the ambassador down here in the Julius family, that should be enough to convert the whole family because the oligarch counts as 2. The fact that it's the ambassador, that should be like another half point or whatever. And so between the one Jewish person in the family, that should be enough to override the 3 other pagans with that one single conversion. So that's not too bad. I'm gonna keep checking on this power score. Yeah, this is gonna be the issue for Carthage and Alcaras here, is that it's just been a few turns of Nizar kind of catching his breath there, right? And that's quite the power jump in just a few turns. It's literally just 2 turns. Three or to 4 turns ish or so, I think, since we've tuned back into this match, and Nizar's power is climbing quite nicely. So that could become a risk for Alcaraz, especially because Alcaraz is not going to have ballistas to match his opponent anytime soon. We're seeing more onagers from Rome. I kind of think that's a little bit of a mistake. I think I'd like to see more ballistas coming out because ballistas really do serious damage, and Nizar has demonstrated to us last turn that the man knows how to execute a route chain. And if there is one thing that makes route chains even easier to execute, it's ballistas, because you can just shoot straight down a line of infantry if they're all stacked together, cut them all in half, and then send the chariots in. So it's good combos you can do there. So I'd like to see a few more ballistas coming out of Rome. I'm surprised that he's not leaning into those more.
Yeah, but those were definitely some very nice routes we saw in the previous part. I think there were like seven units being routed. So yeah, very impressive. Oh, my food price is now over 16. This is one of the most expensive prices that you see in Old World.
Yeah. No, to be honest, if you're with us live now, or if you're on here on YouTube and you haven't caught part, what, 3? Oh, no, part 2? What part are we on?
Yeah, part 2 we are now on.
Yeah. Right, so part 2, yeah, if you didn't catch part 2 of Alcaraz versus Nizar, definitely give it a check out. It's one of the sessions of Old World where pretty much the entire time the players were fighting, so it's packed with action, and it has a lot of interesting moves on the part of both players. Both, Nizar made some really great attacks, really impressive route chains, and of course, Alcaraz was able to hold him off, which is impressive in and of itself, by itself. So certainly catch up on the match if you haven't. Definitely worth a watch, I think. All right, we are seeing a ballista in Faventia T, only just a 3-turn ballista. Love that. That's really nice. And we can probably do, 2-turn ballistas back here. 2-turn onagers as well. Yeah, I don't know. This is looking pretty solid for Nizar. I'm not going to lie. I think...
he just appointed the prophet as governor of Faventia.
Yeah.
But yeah, still no governor in the capital, so still missing up on that +8 science there.
Boo. But I mean, still, an extra 8 training right outside the front line is not anything I'm going to complain about. We're now at 33 training, which is a solid training output for a military city. So yeah, that's pretty good for him.
Yeah, that is definitely good, but he should also be taking advantage of that possibility in the capital.
Yeah.
Really benefit him now.
Jonah's a pretty good character. I talk a lot about Zenobia and how she's great, but Jonah is pretty fantastic too. He comes in, I believe, as an intelligent, righteous character all the time. I think maybe intelligent is new, but I know he's righteous and famous. Yeah, so he's what's nice about him is the fact that he's a zealot and he has good governor traits. So if he pops up, he can really boost training in a city. And yeah, he's worthwhile. He's a nice face to see once in a while. Or typically, I'm pretty sure the event that brings him in, you can kill him and not let him join the Empire at all. And I'm pretty sure if you do, you get something like 4 or 6 legitimacy. So either way, if he shows up, it's good news for you because you can either execute him on the spot for some legitimacy, or you get a decent zealot governor. So you get an
Yeah, I
interesting choice.
appreciate your bloodthirst, but there's a few different events. I think 3 by which you can show up. But yeah, they're all pretty good events. So it's good to see the Prophet Jonah showing up.
Yeah, I see the one where you get to kill him right on the spot the most so far. I was thinking that it doesn't sound right that that's the one that he always shows up on. I think there are more than one events. Yeah, you're probably right about that. But I feel like I see like it's just such a funny event because they're like, "Hey, look, it's Jonah," and then you can pick an option, and so like, "All right, he's dead." It's like, "Oh, okay." Like literally just 1, 2, 3 rapid fire one event back after the other, which are like you can just in the same turn. By the way, it's not after a turn; it's like literally one event after the other, and like you could just bring them out in front of a crowd and like have them stoned immediately. It's such a funny event, and I see that one a lot.
Well, this is interesting. In an event now, Alcaras assassinated his wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fun. Did he get anything good for it?
That's in an event. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look up. I don't remember. I don't see anything very good from that, and
We'll take a look.
I assume you get something for it because you wouldn't be just doing that for fun.
Burdens. I'm not sure. I think it's
Burdens.
not. I think this
Yeah,
is one. I think it's a penalty one where, like, if you don't, I think maybe you have like the option to imprison her or something, and maybe she can. I know there's one event that results in you being able to kill or imprison your wife, and if you don't, she becomes plotting against you, which is obviously not ideal. So kind of just end up in a shitty situation. I forget the follow up on it if there is anyone. Though.
Oh yeah, it's. I think it had this burdens event. One of the options is to feed the throne to this house, and the other is
to
assassinate.
So yeah. All right. So obviously we're gonna kill her because although what was she? Let's see what was she? Let's find out. Queen. She was a hero. We could put a hero on the phone.
Yeah.
Interesting. And you know what's interesting about that as well? Because Alcaras, didn't an event put our current scholar on the throne, I think?
Yes.
Or no, that's what it was.
Yes,
I think
it did.
I think what it was is like, didn't he get a choice between something like scholar?
Yeah.
It was a weird thing
he
where
had
like
his zealot, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't choose the military archetype. So that's interesting. That's actually one thing I like about some of those. I know those coup events get a lot of flack sometimes, both in single player and multiplayer. That's a very interesting move with the slinger that's 100% going to die next turn. But that...
yeah, but again, he's just keeping Alcaraz from holding on to the city.
Yeah, so, but you know what? I think I would just
it's a pain in the butt.
But I don't think that's worth it, because you get, like, when you're ready to take the city, go for it, because you're definitely going to be able to take the city with this level of pressure. But literally what Nizar is choosing to do here, and it's not going to be the most worst thing in the world here, but we're getting a nice, interesting incursion up north from some Hestastas. That's nice. That's going to that's going to put some pressure on Alcaraz to spread himself out. Really love to see it.
Yeah,
that's
very good harassment action. Very good harassment.
That's really good harassment. Not always the best idea to split up your forces, but I think Nizar is very well entrenched here. He has great scouting, sees where the majority of the Carthaginian forces are in, and yeah, I think he's in a spot where he can apply this pressure here. But yeah, so I just think the thing about this Slinger and Leptis Magna is that it's absolutely going to die. And instead, I think you could just hit the city every turn until you're ready to take it. Keep it at 0 health, which means Alcaraz will not be able to use the city. He's still not going to be able to use the build queue, right? And that family, that statesman family, let's take a peek at the politics in Carthage. Does it matter? Not too much, but that statesman family is going to get an extra 10 discontent every single turn every time you fire an onager at it. So I actually think in this case, you know, Fluffy will troll me and do this to me when we fought in the past. I've had him literally be in a position to take a city and just never take it, electing to just attack it once every turn indefinitely. And it's an infuriating position to be in when you can't do shit about it.
Yeah, but as a counterpoint, just by taking Leptis, he is denying some of that oh so expensive food, which Alcaraz has a huge shortage of.
Touche.
And Leptis is producing food, so
Touche.
look, I mean, look at Alcaraz deficit now and look at the price.
Oh, that's all coming. That was all coming from Leptis. How is that possible? That's just one farm.
No. It's not all coming from Leptis, but it does have 4 resources which produce food even without an improvement, right? Three grains and
Touche.
plus 1 farm. Yeah. So it is producing what I think like 10 food.
Yeah. So in total, you're denying about another 10 food per turn to the Carthaginians by doing it. But I don't know. I guess my question is, do you really think that's worth losing a unit for every couple of turns? I mean, if it's a slinger, I guess you don't give a shit. But eventually we're going to run out of slingers to throw in. I mean, I guess we'll have another slinger in 4 turns that we could just throw in the city. I don't know. It's an interesting question.
Right.
I mean, it's certainly a decision. I don't know if it's the wrong decision. It's certainly a decision.
So Alcaraz Capital hits legendary, and from a legendary culture event, he picked estates. He now just placed some estates.
That shocks me. That shocks me that he took the estate, because honestly, the only way I value estates is to push your city to legendary. So we're already at a legendary. I am shocked that he took the estate.
Well, that option also comes with economic reform, which also doesn't do much in itself being VP, but that gives a core tier.
Yeah. I guess if he's not going to be... He doesn't really have a good training in the city anyway, so...
Yeah, it wasn't the best legendary event, really. He did not have anything, because the other option in it was do something like growth boost, which he already has plenty of, so it's not the best event you could get when you hit legendary.
Also, fun fact for those who don't know, the opulence point is worth a victory point, yes, but another interesting bonus from it is it actually gets you pretty decent opinion over a long time frame. It's 40 opinion for the family that builds the opulence project over 80 years. It's a bit expensive, so it's not necessarily the best thing to do to solve an opinion issue. However, it is there on the table if it's available to you. Chopping sprees down in the south from Alcaraz. Like to see that. Oh yeah, because all of his lumber mills burned down. I don't know. He elected to repair this, but I think we're gonna see Nizar go hunting for workers here. So certainly put some pressure on Alcaraz further if he starts losing workers.
No, Alcaraz is definitely under pressure here. So he's being harassed up north. There is this buildup in the center. Yeah, his rural economy is in some trouble. He is 4 turns away from losing 10 legitimacy.
I'm kind of surprised. Nizar elected to back off heal. He had a heckler promotion he could slap on this Hystastus, and he looks like he's being a little bit more reserved up north. If it were me, I would have just gone in and killed this worker. And, you know, who knows? Maybe that's a bad idea. Although I do have the scout over here. Yeah, and all these orders, man, I would have just scouted over here, make sure to clear these clouds, make sure I can take a peek and see, okay, you know, what level of buildup for units is over here. And yeah, I'd probably just kill the worker. I'm really excited for Nizar to have agent networks soon. I think that's going to be really nice for him.
Yeah,
and yes,
he
Hazard,
has been
we are
doing
live.
amazing scouting.
Yes, Nizar's scouting has been on point all game. Huge kudos to him. It's certainly, I think, when you are getting into the multiplayer scene, it's one of the first things you get a solid education on, which is how important vision is in this meta, in this setup, in this head-to-head matchup. You need to be able to see what your opponent is capable of doing. It's just so crucial. It can literally win and lose you fights, just scouting, good scouting. I had that issue in my last game. I kept throwing my scouts away. I kept like sending them into my opponent's lands, and my opponent was not doing a bad job ensuring that they kept getting killed. And then by the time the real conflict happened, I had shitty vision, which was unfortunate. And yes, Hazard, we are live, so welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here.
This is interesting. We were just talking about how Nizar is using religious conversions, converting characters. Now he picked up an ambition to have a Jewish council, so he will need 3 counselors who are Jewish. So, and he will definitely be able to do that because he's well familiar with the mechanics here.
Yeah, that's certainly solid. All right. We are done with machinery.
Alcaras has machinery.
Yeah. Which is going to be huge. Onagers in this backline in the forest will make Leptis Magnus so much harder to take. And he had the river right here as well. So if he puts like a couple here behind the river, that'll be harder for ranged and mounted units to get to, as long as he can protect the flank a little bit. He has some good solid setup here. So yeah, Onagers back here will be nice. Let's take a look at how quickly he can produce an Onager. 3-turn Onager from this top rider city. Solid training here. Really nice to see. He has a 7.2 warlike builder governor. That's really great to have. He also has a zealot on the courtier in the court that he can send into one of these cities if he wants. Zenobia is still... Is this still autonomous? No, it's not. So Zenobia is still kicking around. Not a rising star yet. So she has yet to achieve her final form, but she is still alive and kicking.
For his next technology, he picks land consolidation and understandable picture something. But now watch this. So with the food deficit, it's eating up almost the whole trader income.
Yeah.
So now he's at minus 42 food, which is 16 a piece. So that's what that's 600. That is something almost 700, I think.
Yeah.
That is cost.
I really hate to belabor the point, but if we just look down at this peninsula down in Gadir and Thapsus, we have 3 workers doing things, right? So they finished what they were doing with this barracks was finished, this lumber mill was finished, this guy finished whatever he was doing still, and moved on to new improvements. But what are we building? We're building another lumber mill, we're building another range, we're building an Odeon. Like, all 3 of these workers should be building farms. And that's, I think, the hiccup you run into when you become overly reliant on whatever is giving you your main strength. In this case, your economy is being fueled by traders' income, and you can keep in that mindset of like, it's fine, I'm just going to buy everything. But a negative 42 food deficit is massive when the food is 16 gold per food, and he's still not shifting into, and even up here, he built a range up here when it's like there's perfect farmland over here. He should just be spamming farms, and he's not, which is unfortunate. Although, we have a new one coming online, which is nice, but literally just every worker building a farm would get him neutral, and then do it again. Just do that 2 or 3 improvements in a row, and you're back to 100 food per turn. That's all it would take. It would take 9 turns. You could be at 100 food per turn in 9 turns. Yeah, tricky.
We'll see if he does some of that with land consolidation, because he does have a few.
Yeah.
What are those? The citrus resources. He has a couple citrus which can give science and food. So maybe he will do that, but it is a bit tricky because he's building a lot of lumber mills. He does need the wood as well, because look how many onagers he's building now. Those do cost 50 wood apiece.
Carthage has now left Leptis Magna empty, which I appreciate. And of course, we do not have that change, which, by the way, I'm not a fan of, but whatever. We do not have that change live, so this timer is going to count down, and eventually this city should become a rebel city. No, not a rebel, an anarchy city. So it will actually have walls, not walls, but health will build up, and that's a nice thing you can do to create a interesting no man's land type region for you and your opponent to fight over, which, by the way, Mohawk people, is fun to do.
Yeah, we're against fun, so.
We're against fun. All right. But anyway, so that's going to be nice. That's going to be a nice advantage there for Carthage, because that also solves the issue, as I was saying, about just basically eating a couple of discontent shots every couple of turns and then having, yourself lose the city. So I really actually do think, for the time being, until Alcaras is set up with his own onagers and ready to really maybe kind of push into Rome, I don't see a real advantage to Alcaras taking the city back, because he's just going to end up in the same situation where it's going to get bombarded by a couple of onagers, and it's going to fall instantly whenever Nizar wants it to. So keeping it neutral is a good idea, I think. I was going to say something. Oh, yeah. So land consolidation, by the way, I think is a solid pick for Alcaras. And then the other thing, if we look at the tree, right, he has manor toggled. So I think him getting manor is going to be solid, because it'll get him those free longbows. And if he actually does have the time to get to Bodkin, I mean, he has an archer-heavy composition at the moment. If all of these guys can become the longbows, that'll be really solid, considering so much of the frontline battlefield between Carthage and Rome is wide open terrain.
It's wide open terrain, in part due to Alcaraz doing some excellent chopping, so there was more forest, but yeah, in part too, he did some frontline chopping, because his army was already heavy on ranged, so I prepared that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Botkin is still not so close, so there's definitely some things that are going to happen before Alcaraz has a chance to get Botkin.
Yeah. Yep. We have a question from the chat saying, why would it be advantageous to leave the city abandoned? Wouldn't the science and production be worth the discontent? No, and the reason why is because I can't show you now, but, oh, actually, yeah, check this out. So, see this? Yeah, we look at these tooltips. We have negative 50% science from being damaged, and that actually happens across all yields, even this lumber, right? So basically, if you're sitting at 0 health, and this isn't a very well developed city, maybe if this was a super massively well developed city we wouldn't care, but actually all of your yields from this city are going to be cut in half because it's damaged, and it's fully damaged. As cities take damage, their output gets reduced slightly, and that cap maxes out at negative 50%. So, yeah, really, you gain nothing by just hanging on to the city. Carthage gains absolutely nothing, except for, again, the ability to heal nearby. Like, the tactical advantages can be worthwhile. The bonus attack with units, but again, none of his units are statesman units, so we won't get that 10% combat bonus in friendly territory. So yeah, really at this particular stage, I think Alcaras gains very, very little by holding on to Leptis Magna, and it just creates a weird harassment potential for Rome that I just don't think you'd want to deal with as Carthage. And yes, Rome is actually starting to have a food problem now. We're at negative 13, and So we'll have to keep an eye out on him focusing on his food situation.
But so another thing Scientific likes to do is remove resources. And Nizar had just started building a windmill over a wine resource, and he's surrounding that with some mines, and there's already lumber mills. Again, interesting to see that Nizar is not shy. He's putting a mine where he's putting a mill where wine is, so he's comfortable doing that.
Well, that's interesting. One thing about this, though, with the lumber mill is that doesn't delete the resource underneath, because the deletion only happens if it's urban. But he's probably prioritizing the better adjacency here for all of these mines and whatever, and maybe he just doesn't care about the single potential grove down the line. But it won't give him that typical culture boost, because that only happens when you delete a resource. Build over a resource with urban tiles.
Right. Right.
But yeah, no, you can still do that. Like, if it's a better tile, then yeah, you don't always have to use the resources the way the Lord intended.
Alcaras picking up a little bit of legitimacy by completing the Zoroastrian holy site. So that's a +2 legitimacy.
We
for
can get
him.
a cultivator upgrade on one of these governors, which is nice. Every little bit of food is going to help. And hopefully this would remind Alcaras, if he chooses cultivator right now, hopefully this will remind him to put some goddamn farms in the city. And, all right, we have something happen. What is this? Oh, this is a fine event. So we can take an order hit and become stress. Well, we have to hopefully he'll catch this. Oh, yeah, he's going through the events now, yeah. Or you take him popular. Now, you take the order hit in this case. Unless you want the schemer to be your heir, but I... Wait, no, who is it? Oh, we could put a builder as an heir. Yeah, okay. So this is actually... I want to talk about this, because some of these... behind the throne events that result in character deaths or succession changes, they get a lot of flack. Right, and I understand it because it's random and it's chaotic, but really, this actually gives you an opportunity to look at the character, right? We can look at the character, we say, do I want a builder on the throne? Do I want a cunning, wanton builder on the throne? You look at your heir, do I want to keep my heir on the throne? It's a pretty good stat schemer, so, I'm not saying that one or the other is the correct choice, but what's interesting, because if you select this option, you still get the bypassed mechanic here, right? But what you don't have to do, what you don't get, is the civic cost or the legitimacy hit. So it's the same thing with the wife that was threatening to take the throne from us. It actually gives you that, or we had to, kill her. While those events can be annoying, it actually, something that I think about them, the way I conceptualize them, is that actually gives me opportunities to kind of switch strategies kind of mid-rip, like in the middle of a session, because really, this event essentially allows Alcaras to name a builder as his heir without spending the civics and without the -10 legitimacy hit. And I think that's actually pretty awesome as an opportunity to get. Of course, there's these other results, if he doesn't want to do it, because it's themed around this pressure, right? So, of course, you take a 6-order hit, which sucks, and you gain stress, and that sucks, because that's the theme of the event. But in terms of the overall potential of what's here, you can always look at this character and be like, oh, yes, I'll take a builder. Or maybe it's a hero. It's like, oh, absolutely, I'll take a hero right now, because that's what I need. And then you just put them in line, and you don't have to pay for it, really. Filthy's asking, can you build over a resource? Okay, so the building or the resource. If you build over the thing, so over here with the windmill, he's building over a grove resource. Because this is an urban, it's not going to delete the resource. So later on, if he wants to put a grove here, he absolutely could. Because the grapes are going to sit here forever. You can actually still see the grapes on the tile. They'll be there forever. Now, if you do that with an urban tile, right? Let's say this was grapes, or do I have a good example? let's say we put an urban tile right here. This will delete the goats forever. And then whenever you do that on any resource, you get 5 times the value of the harvest of that resource. So for groves in particular, or any culture resource in particular, so that would include salt or gems, you actually get a burst of 50 culture in that city. It's a very interesting, unique way to get yourself up to developing culture pretty quickly early on in certain cities if you just build over a grove resource that you have no intention of using later on in the game. So it's an interesting way to spike culture. But yes, if you put urban on the tile, then it's gone forever. But if I just mine these olives, then I could mine this olive at the very start of the game, and then 40 turns later, I could put a grove on top of it if I wanted to, because it's still there. Okay. So that's that. Yeah, we have some interesting staging in the north now. We have onagers coming online. We have an onager being built in nearly every city from Alcaras, so that's interesting. Of course, that's nice to see. One turn away from Portcullis. He's going to have to make some sales if he wants to put a network in every single city or where he has his scouts.
Yeah, but that's something Nizar is pretty much equipped to do. He does have solid income. He can sell resources. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll see agent networks coming up.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, Fluffy just pointed something out that is also worth pointing out about the whole building on top of resources type of thing. So this resource right here, going back to the olives, just to use this example, this gives you 1 culture per turn just for existing. This, citrus gives you 1 food just for existing. If you decide to put a farm or a urban improvement and that keeps the resource around, you do not get that static yield from the tile. So a mine on this tile would give you the iron, but it would get rid of this culture. It still doesn't delete the resource permanently if it were a mine, but you do lose that culture. Very well pointed out there, Fluffy. And yes, windmills are rural.
I keep rehashing this point, but again, the rural economy, so it's a new term for Alcaraz. And this time he is in such a deficit that now his production of stone was sold, so he had to automatically sell 71 stone just to cover the debts for the other resources. So right now, despite that amazing trader's capital, he is sitting at 0 gold, and it's only his good economy is the only one that exists. The rest of his economy doesn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah, he really. I mean, yeah, I agree. This is what's this is what's infuriating. Look at this. There's a bunch of farm pins on the map. I don't know if those are new. I feel like I've been grabbing workers enough that these haven't popped up already. So maybe these are new. So maybe maybe that's the thing about pins for Alcaraz. Maybe he needs to see the pin to really have that visual signifier. Hey, go do this thing. So if he did just add all these in, as amusing as that is, good, because hopefully that'll get him kicking into gear and spamming these farms, which he desperately needs. Oh, preview an attack against Fort. Yeah, he still gets the.
Yeah, Fluffy is asking if the anarchy forts are working, which I believe they do. But
well, this is by the way, this is one of the things about the neutral territory thing. This is also why I didn't like back in the day when you changed the ability to build roads through this territory, the ability to heal on a hero in this territory, and all that stuff is, and I, how I talked about at the time, how it felt like it made conquest easier because at least in single player, just if you'll indulge me a rant real quick, I'll keep it quick, I promise. At least in single player, it's very easy to come in, make a city fall, and then you don't even need to capture the city. You just keep going forward because this happens. You know, it eventually turns to anarchy. You can just forget about it and you just keep moving forward. And then things like roading, you can just keep your roading moving forward. All your heroes, you can keep healing up. It doesn't matter. And you just keep pushing forward because you don't actually have to pause. Normally, when I keep everybody at this stage in the game has seen me build my worker chains, right? Or I've been talking about worker chains. Normally, you know, you build your worker chain all the way to a border, and then you attack the city. And typically in single player, I had to pause, right? I had to actually take the city in order to heal my guys up and keep the worker chain moving. But now I just drop the city and then keep everybody moving forward. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't like that change. But I must say, Nizar said, you know, well done on this. And I really think this is the solid defensive play here from Alcaras, because if we take a look here, it's actually going to take a couple, I mean, I guess an onager will knock this down, but, you know, this city's going to have health, and it will heal back up, I think, as long as, or it will force Nizar to keep attacking it every turn, just to keep it low enough to go in there with one unit, so... Yeah, I find this... I've seen this in cloud games as well, because a couple of players will send me, you know, updates on their cloud games, and it was always interesting to see how those matches unfold. And I've seen this before, even in cloud games, where basically you have a stalemate across neutral territory, and I find it interesting. So that's one of the things that I think is cool about the fact that these anarchy cities end up forming, because it creates a weird, interesting battle and stalemate between the two players.
Not to distract you from your rant, I will agree that for you it was a pretty short rant. But we do have the long-awaited portcullis for Nizar, and he immediately appoints a very nice spy master who is just 22, and she has decent wisdom, so she's getting an instant +9 science. And she is immediately trading Alcaras as well.
Yep.
So
this is great.
Is immediately of his new toys, and there are agent networks as well.
So
Yeah,
I'd love to see an agent network in the capital. I'd love to see I mean, I think if this is a solid spot, he can spot the owners. I think this is definitely the big priority, and then I would like to see an agent in the capital, because then you could try and siphon a little bit more of that science. I'm actually going to take a peek at the science right now cause of that, and it looks like we need to update another turn, but they're going to be they're running relatively even now. And in terms of overall science invested in the tech tree, we have 3,400 for Nizar and 3,300 for Carthage. So they're neck and neck in terms of science progress. So that portcullis grab is pretty solid. And he had a few different decent enough options for a spy master there.
He already has a spy master. Yeah, the spy master is good, but
and of course, that council stuff is going to help him with his family opinions as well. He needs to make sure his council gets Jewish at some point. I worry about this heated bath and amphitheater ambition for Carthage, because he's already had some bad luck getting his legacies, getting his ambitions finished, and I feel like that's a tricky one for him to do. We're getting monasticism now. If we monasticism, we have architecture as well. Yeah, so that's kind of what interests me. architecture is on the docket and we're not grabbing it. And I feel like if we keep pushing that off as not, I mean, I don't think our architecture is the priority at all. But if we keep pushing it off, that becomes more and more likely. We're 45 years old, King Hiram. It becomes more and more likely you're going to fail this ambition because you're still going to have to build all 3 of the improvements in Carthago, which is going to take quite some time.
Well, not all 3, right? He has a fair. I mean, all 3 baths.
Yes, I mean of the bath itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he even have room? He probably pinned him out. Yeah, he does. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be like... this one's going to be extra because of the marsh, I think. Both of these are going to be extra on the marsh, I think. So this is going to be like 5, 6, 7. Or 5, 6, 6. I forget how many turns. But yeah, that's almost 20 turns just to build all 3 of them. Excuse me. And you haven't even researched yet. Interesting.
He is now making good progress on the food, finally. So we have farms, we have a citrus grove coming up. So
I find it fascinating that Alcaras just chopped these woods, and I have to imagine that he's thinking about scout denial, which is just so amusing to me at this stage in the game, considering how Alcaras literally just got the ability to establish agent networks. And I actually think having the woods here is better for Alcaras than not having the woods here, because I really think plopping a few onagers in these woods would have been awesome. So it's interesting. I really think that he must have been thinking about vision denial, and I would have liked to see him just put a bunch of units in the woods for that vision denial rather than chop them down. All right, we have a dead chancellor in Rome. Let's see if we have any other good alternatives. Not really. Not necessarily any great ones, but not terrible ones. Also, we could be... What's our gold situation? Could be family gifts be useful here? Probably not. We have a very angry Soren Johnson leading the Valerius family. For those of you who don't know, that this is... Soren's face grimacing at us at the moment. Wait, isn't this you?
yeah, the angry Roman pagan, that might be me.
All right, so both Mohawk. So this is the real reason why the gods are on Nizar's side, because the gods are quite literally in the Roman kingdom at the moment. So if you want to have a little bit of that extra edge in your gameplay, make sure you get the Mohawk devs on your side. That's funny. Looking a little worse for the wear there, my friend.
Yeah, well, 70 years of leading a pagan religion will do that to you.
Yeah. That's funny. A cruel romantic. Fun. All right, we have some events. What do we have? New dead chancellor, and third in line can become a commander or tactician. That could be useful. The other nice thing about having a decent dynasty is I always like to be able to hop over to my list, right? And think in terms of think in terms of options. Like, we have a hero heir, right? That's fine. We'll want that. But maybe if this guy were to become something like a builder, that gives you options to pivot to a different archetype. There's risk there, and there's cost there. But it's always nice to have a diverse set of archetypes. But we'll have two here. Oh, this is a wife. So we have a hero, an orator, and then we have a possibility to get a commander and a tactician in the Roman dynasty now as well. Some good options there. Oh, wait, no, this is a... Wait, what? We are a hero. So, our heir is a scholar. My bad. Yeah, so we have a scholar, orator, tactician, commander. Interesting. So we might see in the future this character, commander or tactician, getting named as an heir.
From the scholar area is 50 years old and pretty real, so
Yeah.
might not be around anyway.
Yep.
Of course, he is ill because Nizar finally appointed a governor in Rome. That's where he is governing. So, of course, as soon as you appoint a governor, they fall ill and waste your civics.
Nice front line forming between the Carthaginians and the Romans. A potential 2 fronts lining up. Of course, Nizar can now see that onagers are set up in some of the city centers. There's one in the north. And are there any currently out in Carthage yet? I don't think so. I think that's the... Oh, there's one up here, which of course we can see due to the network. Let's check the yields in these cities. Nothing decent. I like the hero down here, though, because heroes can be interesting. I'd be curious to see if we see some treacheries in the future at all. We don't really have the economy for it that much. But can always make for an interesting surprise. Yep, and Liptus Magna is healing up. We'll be curious to see if Nizar decides to spend the orders to keep this low health. Wow, he is... Okay, he's just taking a peek with that horse. I dig it. Really being mindful of his vision potential. Okay. Some slingers.
Chariot scouting.
Yeah. He's on comp bow, so I wouldn't be surprised if these slingers are coming out with the anticipation of having them upgrade to archers. That's one of my favorite things to do, is just, be like, be at a threshold and think, you know what would get me a couple of archers really quick if I just build slingers right now, because I can, and then upgrade them.
Yeah, and Nizar's wood situation is really good.
Yeah. Definitely
do that.
Yeah, he's in a really, really great situation, I think, in terms of economy. He has 100 100 wood per turn. Which is just really great. Decent enough iron.
Alcaras' turn. He added a reminder to himself to repair lumber mills. Because it's interesting that barracks in Utica up north, they were actually burned. This was his status, so Nizar's harassment included a burn there.
All right. What are we at science? Let's do another science recap. I'm really curious to keep an eye on this. I know I just checked a moment ago, but I'm going to do it again. We are now... All right, so Rome is climbing back up. Yeah. 66 to 61. And I think with this minor deficit, we're actually going to see both players, probably even out completely in terms of overall tech investment, which is really cool to see. No major advantage there. So I think, I really suspect, I don't think, because what you need to win a fight is like some manner of leverage, right? So what does leverage look like? Early on, it can be more units. It can be your 6th strength unit. Onagers, being first to onagers, can be a point of leverage. Ballistas can be leverage, things like that. But then let's say you try to use your leverage and you get beat back. You can't beat the opponent. What are we thinking about after that? Well, then you're thinking about 8 strength units. So we're thinking 7 laws, unique units. We're thinking things like bodkin arrow. We're thinking things like infantry square, maybe windlass, stuff like that. So I suspect Nizar is going to be respectful here and realize he can't just blunt force his way into Alcaras' land. I suspect he's going to wait for a little bit more leverage. Although, let's take a look at the power graph and see how we're doing. Rome is climbing up quite significantly. We have 1,300 power to 900. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. Lots of chopping sprees here from Carthage. Yeah, I suspect that's trying to eliminate the scouts as well. And again, I dig it. It's just ironic that Alcaras is finally making this decision. And of course, he has the orders, right? So I'm not knocking it. He just had to deal with a shitload of combat, and he's working on his economy. But he's finally coming around to chop these forests, and unfortunately, his opponent will have eyes everywhere because of the agent networks. That's one of the nicest things. Portcullis is such an interesting tech because it's low priority. It doesn't always offer the biggest payout, but it's simultaneously, arguably, one of the most powerful technologies in the game. Because in a head-to-head match like this, where it's just you versus your opponent, once you have agent networks up, you have perfect vision. It's basically like you're playing with a map hack.
Nizar still hasn't placed an agent network in Alcaraz capital, so let's see if he does that now. Well, his scout is being chased away.
I'd really like to see that happen, especially because I'm curious about what options he has, like how much science he's going to be able to siphon. Not too much, I think.
As predicted, the scholar heir is of course dead.
Oh, hey,
governing the capital.
There you go. So now he's going to have to decide. Although, maybe an orator could be a good pickup, because if you can get your opinion tuned up, then that's going to be orders and the combat bonus from having good opinion. So that was a surprising thing, too, for my first conflict with Aaron in my game. Part of me was thinking, basically, no, I'll just say it. I underestimated the orator because I hadn't realized until after I started that fight that he was friendly in all three families. So not only and then I stupidly didn't check my own political situation. So I started a fight having poor politics in my own land up against somebody who was friendly in all three of his families. So not only did that translate to a combat boost, but also in the orator's case, it translated to an extra, it can be an extra order per city. So they can be surprisingly good in the right situation. Tricky to make them work, though. I don't play with orators all that much. But because even when I'm thinking in terms of religious opinion, I typically prefer a zealot in that case, too. Because as long as I can get all my families under the same banner, the zealot actually offers better religious opinion than the orator. So that's another tricky thing. Does it look like we're still converting people? Well, maybe
not right now.
Not right now, not right this second. But yeah, we did get this. I really think this family, this Julius family, should convert over momentarily. I think that's enough. Oh no, he would have to be made ambassador. So he needs to do one more conversion. Or he needs to make this ruler ambassador. The other nice thing about the mills is they turn even flat land into fantastic mine spots. Because this is going to be a 10 iron mine out in the open flat. Same with quarries, it would be a 10 stone quarry. So the other economic potential here with the mills hitting the map and targeting hydraulics in general when you're playing this game is that it really releases you from the burden of thinking, where are my mountains? Where are my hills? Where are my river, my river stuff? Although, I mean, I guess the windmills work on the river, but still, yeah, no, it allows you to a huge boost of economic potential, which is nice.
I like Nizar's economic build-up here. So he just completed a farm. He has more mills coming up. He's building a net on one of the pearl tiles. So he is working a lot on his iron. So he has solid income, but he is not content with that. He's working on his income and increasing that.
I think that's the play here. I mean, you definitely had to sit back, kind of lick your wounds a little bit, and you get yourself better consolidated with your army. And I think it's just smart. We're turn 88.5. You have 55 science per turn. You have to assume that Alcaras' science isn't amazing right now either, given the pressure you just put him under. But it's entirely, like, as far as you know, though, which is another reason why the agent networks come in handy, because you can look in the city and you see the science. So that's why you really want to get a network in the capital, is because the best science city that Alcaraz has will very likely be his capital. Now, we know it is, but Nizar can assume that. And once he gets an agent network there, he'll effectively know, plus or minus, character stats, right? He will effectively have a sense of what Alcaraz' science rate is. But I do think it's smart. I think it's smart for Rome to be building up now. We do have an unfortunate earthquake in Rome. Let's see the damage. We have some hurt units. So he's going to have to back off and heal this onager up, which is a bummer. But not a lot of improvement pillaging, which is nice. So will be easy to recover from this earthquake.
Yeah, that earthquake is pretty much fine. Alcaraz Constitution, which is a nice science boost. That gives him another 9 science, which is important. What else is he doing? Yeah, chopping more. Alcaraz is chopping more.
Yep, soon these scouts will have no place left to hide, but as soon as we get a network in that capital, they will have done their duty for the entire game. I love that Alcaraz has the Heliopolis. My favorite thing about the pins that he does is the what is it, like the ambition of the pins, like the ambitiousness of the pins. I love that Heliopolis is pinned, but I don't think he's in any position to build that anytime soon at all.
Yeah, but he does that early. Like, he will sometimes, even on turn 1, he will pin legendary level improvements, right? So he probably saw early on that Heliopolis is in the game, so he pins it, but of course he is not going to be building that anytime soon.
Oh, wait, that's weird. Maybe there was a visual lag on my end, because at first when I looked at this earthquake, there were no damaged improvements, and now there's a shitload of them. So maybe that was a graphical bug from the observer perspective, because
Yeah, seeing the same, or maybe it's because
all right, well, never mind.
Not sure. I don't.
He's gonna have some cleaning up to do after all. There's quite a few improvements that have gotten pillaged. Very cool. Very cool. Annoying, but cool.
This earthquake is huge in terms of its range. It affected most cities.
It's huge. I've been noticing that in these duels in general, on these map sizes. Like, we'll get one earthquake and it will hit like 6 cities. It's massive. I can't believe. Like, I don't even think this makes any rational sense. How? I mean, I guess I would never mind. It would be on a fault line. But yeah, you have an earthquake all the way down here and all the way up here. That's basically half the continent is just got hit by an earthquake. They're huge. All right, let's take a look. What else is interesting here? So we have our king's dead. We have the ruler on the throne. We got Glorious, by the way. That was really cool that Nizar was able to get Glorious. He had a very, very nice, healthy, long reign. And so his legitimacy is pretty decent. Let's take a look at that compared to both players here. Yeah. Decent enough legitimacy advantage here for... It's about 4 order difference in legitimacy. Well, maybe closer to 3. It's 3 order difference in legitimacy for Nizar. Alcaras had an early issue with his ruler dying.
Yeah, Alcaraz had an early queen death and some other. So those legacies failed now. So
yeah, he had a couple. He had a little bit of it. Yeah, he had this. King Hanno died on the new as well. That's unfortunate. We had the Pioneer. This was an early death. And we got the Strong, which was solid. And then we had a quick secession over here. Unfortunate.
So one other thing that's interesting now is the military graph. So Nizar is now stronger than he was at the start of the big fight.
Wow, yeah.
While Alcaraz is lagging behind.
Wow, yeah.
And yeah, we do have a discrepancy now. So Rome is now considerable.
And Alcaraz, I still think it's relatively fair to say he's like kind of still in recovery mode from that conflict, for sure. Like getting to where he wants to be, because again, he still has a food deficit. He does have stuff coming online down south to resolve that, but he still has a food deficit. He has an iron deficit, whereas Nizar is fine. Nizar is, I mean, he's going to have to worry about food in a second over here. He has a negative 28 food deficit, so he really should take a second to spam a bunch of farms as well. He has some pasture coming online, so. But also, oh no, this is from the earthquake. The stone deficit is from the earthquake. But I mean, more or less, his economy's fine, and I think he can start pressuring Alcaraz even more, which is going to not be good news for Alcaraz. So it's entirely possible that Alcaraz will have to come roll around in the elimination bracket with me, Fluffy, and Bullmoose. It looks like that could be...
I really like how... Yeah. Oh, this game is so far... Well, this is part 3, right? And so far, each part has had a very clear theme. So part 1 was build-up. Yeah. Part 2 was just battle, crazy battle. And now part 3 is the recovery from said battle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen. You know, that happened in my last game. Literally, the second part was, I think, a 2 or 3 hour session. And at least from my perspective, I don't really know what Aaron was doing because I never went back and watched that stream. But for me, it was 100% just full recovery mode until part 3. And it was just get my economy online, hit my Bodkin arrow target, which I can't remember if I hit it directly. I think I was on Bodkin by the time the third round started. And yeah. Basically, very single-minded. Honestly, I think it's entirely possible if Aaron had attacked me immediately after my attack. I think he could have just killed me earlier. But of course, that would have been super risky. So definitely safer, definitely smarter to play it safe because you can't quite guarantee if that would have been the case. But I certainly retreated from that first conflict, thinking, I mean, in a bad spot. I was very pleased with that second session, though. I think I built up quite nicely. And yeah, I think Nizar is in a similar situation where he had to kind of fall back, lick his wounds, but I think he's built up quite nicely here. I think he's gearing up for a new attack. We have seen 6, Jesus Christ, 6 generals get assigned, which is just awesome.
Yeah. Nizar is rebuilding very quickly, definitely. Alcaraz, I think Alcaraz is going to lose the lumber mill there. One of the mills that got burned in the wildfire. He doesn't have a worker to repair that one.
All right. I am going to hang up on you and then call you back. All right, say something.
Yeah. Hello, am I back for you?
Yeah, you're back. You're breaking up a little bit, and I'm not sure if you're still breaking up,
Yeah.
but...
Well, I might be. We'll see. Yeah, where's this thing?
Oh,
So
we have an
Alcaraz
elephant
is...
hopping in. No going to bed yet, Solver. We have an elephant hopping in and hitting... Oh!
Oh, come
What?
on.
What is this move? Oh, man, I hope it works, but I think this is a horrible idea. Your opponent has elephants. There's no way your hero general's sitting in that fort, buddy. Are you kidding me? This is incredible. All right, we'll have to see.
My. What?
I think.
I love Nizar. I love
dude,
Nizar.
he's so entertaining to watch.
Yeah. He attacks, he has balls.
He doesn't give a shit, dude. He's just like, it's time to fight. And I've watched some of his practice matches because he streams. And even when it's, like, not going well, like, he doesn't care that much. Like, he might be like, oh, man, this sucks or whatever. But, like, no, dude, he just keeps fighting. And he's like, oh, I'm going to take this city because if I don't take this city, I'm not going to win. And so even if it's like he can't do it, he just does it. But no, he's playing very well in this game. I just don't know what the idea was over here. I mean, he can't kill this thing for sure. He has chariots, which will then get him surrounded by units protecting this thing. Okay, all right. Because the main question that he has, wow, this is a stack up. I mean, if this works out, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to love every second of this.
Yeah. Definitely, but I already love this just because of the bold on this move.
Oh yeah, bold as shit. This is awesome. This is so great. Oh, he's gonna get a route here. Does he have enough orders? He's gonna... Yeah. Yeah, interesting. I mean, it's certainly going to apply some pressure on the center, and then maybe he can attack north, too. I don't know. I'll be curious to see what he does next round, and I'm certainly curious to see how Alcaras responds. And here comes the first hit, and here comes... I mean, it's definitely going to be a dead onager, but you're not going to have any orders. You're not going to be able to... You still have an exposed hero. So... I mean, still, shit. That's going to be... Only 5 damage. Yeah. Alright. Alright. Okay. I mean, I feel like that's more or less a successful block. Certainly gives Alcaras a nice puzzle to... Oh, we spent all the training. Okay. We spent a bunch of training for another spear. This is awesome. I have to say, yeah, this is awesome.
This is very fun, and it's I think what we would expect of Nizar after seeing him play a few matches.
Oh my god! And he did spend the training for this one. This Hestastus. I can't believe he got it completely surrounded. I wasn't factoring in the training dump. All right, we'll see if this pays off, because now this onager is in range of pretty much everything Alcaraz has. It has the Sword of the Gods on it. Oh my god, that's 10 damage to these units, and they're all in the woods, guys. This is a puzzle for Alcaraz. Oh my goodness. Unfortunate that both the goods boost and hydraulics is in the same hand. I feel like, oh, we're going for the goods boost. That's fine. I would probably have picked the timing on ballistas because I feel like we need them, but, you know, maybe we'll be fine. All right, so let's look at that power graph right now after this. Yeah, slight dip here. We're looking at 1,600 power to 1,100, sorry, to 1,000 total. So advantage Rome. Now, still, a bunch of Rome's power, certainly more than 600, I would say, is not yet in this fight. It's back here on the front line. But, yeah, no, it should be interesting. Should be interesting to see how Alcaras responds to this situation. Certainly a puzzle stands before him.
It's such an intriguing attack because the placement of this means that Alcaraz must respond now immediately this turn. There is no other option.
Yeah. No, I know. That's the thing that sucks too, is that any pressure applied to Alcaraz creates a need for an immediate response. He has to basically divert all of his attention. Where I think Nizar is in a position where he can kind of afford to skirmish. Like if this foray doesn't really work out for him, I don't think that's really the end of the world for Nizar. Whereas if Alcaraz loses this fight, well, then he loses the game. So
yeah,
definitely.
Exactly. And Nizar, Nizar had, of course, a great opening. He did kill 2 onagers, and Alcaraz doesn't yet have that many on the field.
Exactly.
Alcaraz has 2 onagers left, so half of his onager force was eliminated in that initial attack.
Yeah, and it's a way bigger deal for Alcaraz to be set back onager tempo than I think it is for, honestly, wildly enough, even though a lot of units could die here, I feel like it's not going to be that big a deal for Nizar because of his output. However, that said, you do stuff like this a little too much, and that can then backfire and throw momentum in your opponent's favor, because that type of stuff happened, to me. And it can happen. If you feel like you can just throw bodies at the problem, you can be surprised at the fact that, like, eventually you run out of bodies to throw. But we are getting rid of this onager, this hero. And then the other concern we have is this hero getting wounded or killed in battle, which I love, by the way. One of my favorite things to watch out for. It's like, if we can kill this hero, maybe she dies, and then that gets rid of the Sword of the Gods, which would be awesome for Alcaraz. Okay, there's a route. I think she would have become doomed eventually if the event fired, so maybe it didn't. But we'll keep an eye on that next turn.
Alcaraz spent all his training as well to buy orders and occupy the fort.
Yeah. So this is certainly an interesting position, but you know what? Honestly, with ballistas and stuff, I feel like this isn't going to go well for Alcaraz still. I mean, there's lots of kill potential here for the Romans. So this could be...
And again, this is Nizar, so we can be pretty sure that Nizar will move in.
Yeah, I think so.
So much for sleep.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think he's in a better position now, because now we have 2 ballistas that are in range of this fight. We still have plenty of chariots, no spears in Carthage. So still has the same situation where this entire buildup is routable. So, yeah, I feel like this might have been the kickoff here. That bold plunge directly into Carthage. I think it might have been the kickoff of the final battle, because, I mean, I think there's a little bit of outer position element here with Nizar's forces in the north, but I think this is a battle that Nizar can win. And that's
I think consider this, like, even Nizar's forces in the north, they are applying pressure because as soon as Alcaraz devotes everything to the main battle, he started swinging there at Utica. He has good units, right? That's he will fall quickly just to, like, one onager and a couple of status.
But even this Hestasis right next to the plain of Q can make it to this battle, like, because of the Roman ability to move far. So he still has, like, even the Jesus Christ, even this Hestasis back here on the Citrus can make it all the way and attack this axe. So yeah, there's plenty of reinforcement potential to this front line. This slinger can come up here and body block. Really like using trash slingers to get in the way. You know, if I'm not using a worker, then I'm gonna use a slinger or a warrior and block kill potential there. Yeah, so this could be the final battle of the match. Strap in, everybody. We'll have to see if Alcaras can pull another rabbit out of his hat, because the first battle didn't look so hot. Although I think Nizar rushed a little bit in the first battle. I think if Nizar played that slower, especially with his onager placement, like kind of creeping his onagers into the fight, I think that battle could have gone way better for Nizar. But we'll see. We'll see how this one goes.
Okay, yeah, and it's Nizar's turn.
It is Nizar's turn. Super excited. Can't wait. We're burning.
Oh, he's going for a master. Oh.
Wow, that is bold. That is bold. He's thinking. I think he's worried about what. Do we have a law time? I think he's worried. I just think Nizar doesn't want onagers to hit the field. I think that's what we're seeing here. Would be super interesting. I mean, I think we should be killing military units, but now after that pillage, imagine if Nizar just kills the 2 workers in the region. And there it is. There
goes the ballistas.
There's the ballista, and here comes the chariot behind it, I'm sure. There's another one. Boom. Yeah. Chunk. Do you think they're like the Gatling guns of the ancient world? Yeah, he had the chariot. There's gonna be. I mean, how many orders? Nah, maybe he can't route through the elephants. Yeah, those elephants are gonna be beefy. All right, route. Oh, those spears. Yes, those spears. Bring up these spears. Do some damage with that. Yeah, he can kill this. And I think he can kill... I think he can route down this line and then maybe come up. Oh, he could just kill this with... he can kill this axe with this onager on the hill as well. Yeah, not going to look so hot for Alcaras.
Remembering here that he still has a hero, of course, every kill 50 training and use those to buy more order.
Yeah, so now in this particular situation for Nizar, I would love to see his hero end up on one of these chariots back here. Because that's just going to be a massive boost. And that will give you the route that will just chew through everything.
That's one elephant down, and he can at least get an axe.
Real quick, someone asked in the chat, what is the difference between pillage and burn? Pillage puts you on cooldown and gives you resources for the thing that you destroyed, so you can only pillage once. Burn costs 50 training, it doesn't give you any resources, and it allows you to keep moving and burning more stuff. So basically, pillage is cooldown, you can do it once. Burn costs training, you can do it repeatedly.
Nizar really thinking now about how to make use of his last orders.
Yeah.
And at least get 2 axes, but maybe he has something better. He's trying to go for the elephant. So
he's not going to get it.
Found him.
Oh, maybe he is going to get it.
He must have found a way.
I would not have guessed. Would not have clocked. Oh, because the elephants don't apply zone of control. That does make sense. Okay, never mind. All right, so we can do 1 hit, but we'll have to purchase our last 2 orders for these kills, which means we're not putting our ruler on a general this turn. Whoa, we're coming up. Well, now we're out of orders.
Yeah.
I think we could have done that differently and gotten both of those things killed. Okay, well, that's good. That's good for Alcaras. Love it when your opponent makes mistakes. Fantastic. Because now we have some serious damage potential that we can put out onto these ballistas out in the open. Because we have a couple of elephants left alive. But that's really good news for Alcaras. I don't know. I hate to say it, but I feel curious about Alcaras' ability to sustain this long term. But, we'll see. I mean, thankfully, he's being pretty resilient in this fight. Gotta look at the power score soon. Next turn, I'll look at the power score. Again, because it should update appropriately once it's Alcaras' turn.
Yep.
We also have an ambition in Rome to kill 10 military units. So that's always great to have in the midst of a fight. Going to be a guaranteed extra 10 legitimacy at some point, which is nice.
Okay, there it goes to Alcaras now. Let's see what he does with it.
All right, so we're looking at a similar dip between both players, but of course, Nizar does have the greater power. But the other thing that's about this is very easy to think that your opponent is weaker or much weaker. Are we looking at in the screen here too? Yeah, it says your opponent's weaker. But the biggest issue about this, all right, we have a first kill. Elephant going chomp chomp into the chariot.
Yeah,
we
got a
are very
chariot
close
attack.
to kill potential on that other ballista.
Fluffy is, of course, right in the chat that it was the burning around the rider's seat that caused Nizar a couple of kills, so it might have been better not to burn there and kill.
I do agree.
One
100%.
more elephant.
100%. As cool as this was, I don't think it was worth it, because you also, honestly, if you were paying attention, it only actually chopped off one turn of the onager that was being construction. So it's a sound concept, but certainly, I don't think he gained that much from it. In the middle of a fight, like if he sent some skirmishers forward to start this, fine. You know, burn a bunch of improvements, put some pressure on your opponent. But he's basically in the middle of a fight here. And so I wouldn't have wasted the turns and the orders and even the training on burning all of those improvements myself personally. But it can certainly be an interesting tool in the toolbox, for sure, and was cool to see.
Yeah, it was definitely entertaining, that's for sure.
All right, so that's 2 ballistas down, which is going to hurt. Yeah. It is unfortunate, and it's easy to forget in the middle of all of this action to do something as important as assigning your ruler, but let's not forget that this is an 80% attack boost towards infantry on this ruler here. So if Nizar can get Queen Marcia onto a chariot, I mean, his route potential, he's doing 8 damage here. This would jump up to something like 15 damage. His route potential would just be absurd. Even in the woods, this would be like a 9 to 10 damage route. Probably like 9. Maybe 8. I don't know. Combat math is always wonky. I can never figure it out, even though I know the equation. I'm always constantly surprised by the math of combat. But I do love it. I actually like, as annoying as it is, and as much as I rail against rounding errors constantly, I like that it's a consistent happenstance in this game that units end up with, 1 to 4 health left, because I think that's what increases the tactical value of things like pierce, cleave, splash damage, and all of that stuff, because you're always going to look for ways that you can get that extra couple of damage to ensure you take kills. And I think however anybody, whichever designer, whether it was Soren or Alex or whomever, came up with that formula to make all of the things come together is just frankly fucking brilliant. Because again, super annoying to have the rounding errors, but that's what makes all of the tactical things in this game matter that much more. And even things like whether you are attacking across a river or not, it all comes together beautifully. Oh, looks like we've gotten disconnected. Are you still with me?
I also saw that. Yeah, yes, it's just the match that disappeared.
So usually when this happens, if we just hang out, we'll reconnect in a second, so we'll see how it goes. I'll check with the fellas on Discord.
It's back. Mine says restored. Nizar Nizar is disconnected, so.
Okay. Yep, my connection. What's interesting, I've noticed something fascinating about this. Am I on the Roman perspective? Interesting. I have a weird theory. I think if... Were you also on the Roman perspective?
No, I was on the Alcaras.
Oh, so what I find fascinating in so many situations where the non-host disconnects, also the observers disconnect. So it was me, you, and Nizar that all disconnected, but Alcaras was still in the game. So now we're all loaded in at this point. And that's fascinating. So maybe it's like just a host issue. All right, so Nizar is back. We're all back.
Any word from Nizar is... Yeah. All good.
Yeah, all good. And we're still mostly in full military. Oh, no, we have some farmers and specialists getting built in Rome. Still going to have to find some time and orders to repair his stuff, which is always shitty to have to focus on it when you're trying to launch an attack. It looks like...
So Nizar's turn, what is he doing? He is, of course, attacking, because that's Nizar.
Yep. I mean, it's entirely possible he can strong arm his way through this. I mean, we'll have to see, of course. Yeah, it looks like during that connection time, we had some, still some more movement. So it looks like we've had some onager fire from the north, some archers moving around for Carthage. And now we're caught up. We're back on Rome's turn here. And we're launched some onager fire at these units. Nizar will have to make a decision of if he wants to keep routing stuff. Interesting that this... I mean...
I think he always wants to keep routing, so we'll definitely see that.
I find it a little fascinating. Of course, it is understandable given the pressure that's being applied right here, but I actually kind of find it a little fascinating that this chariot in this deep enemy territory managed to survive. So he does have 2 different route potential units in the region, which is nice. Oh, and he made an attack up here on Utica. That's really nice. So, yeah, really, really pressuring Alcaras, and that's just going to suck to be Alcaras. Still no...
I would not really love to see one of those onagers up north move within range of Utica. That would be good.
Yeah. I think, well, because that's... He withdrew from Utica. There was an onager up here, so one of these onagers came from up top. Which, I mean...
No, I mean the Roman onager. So if Nizar does that...
Oh, yeah. The Roman onagers. Yes, 100%. Also, what's interesting, what's risky about this onager in the forest here, I wonder if Nizar will spot it, but his 2 chariots can come up here and kill this onager too. So I think this is it. I think this is going to be it. I think there's just too much pressure that Nizar can exert into this battlefield right now. All right, here we go. Cinematic pan for the trailer. As long as you attack faster than this. Okay, fine, never mind. All right, well, I wanted to follow the route chain, Nizar. You ruined it. No? All right, now we're up north. Okay, whatever. Here we go. Taking out that onager. Yep, that's fine. Yeah, man. This is shitty. What a shitty spot to be in.
And now he should still be able to take out an elephant and at least from the axeman.
Dude, so. I love this tournament so much. We have a happy little crew of people who hang out on Discord, chatting about the game, theory crafting, who play multiplayer games with each other over cloud or whatever else. And we set up this tournament, and we have a whole handful of players who are like, hey, yeah, that sounds fun. And now we're halfway through the tournament, and if Alcaraz loses this match, every single possible veteran that you would expect to do well in this tournament has lost one of their games. And I'm including Ninja in that ranks because Ninja's a phenomenal player. I think he's going to do very well in the lower bracket. I'm including Fonder Cargo in those ranks. He's a strong player. He's already been eliminated from the tournament. Bull Moose has been sent down. I've been sent down. Fluffy's been sent down. Mojo has been sent down. Mojo's a strong player. This is just a freaking absolute blast to experience this. Hazards in the chat says Ninja is my pick to win the whole thing. Awesome, cool. I love that. I love it. I definitely think he's a strong contender, even though he did lose that first match. But yeah, I think he's certainly one to watch in that lower bracket. 100%. He's a very, very strong player. Sometimes he can get tripped up by very simple mistakes, but as long as he doesn't, he just plays a frighteningly good game of Old World. I've played him a couple of times, both in network and in cloud, and he's a very, very strong player. So I'll be looking forward to watching him as well. More games from him. Yeah, man, this has been so much fun. It's also been nice to see players playing practice matches. You know, so much activity right now of players playing games because of this tournament. So it's just been a real treat to have everybody getting involved. All right, we're back over to Carthage's turn. Alcaraz, what can you do, buddy? Let's take a look at that power score. Oh, yeah, man. This is not looking good. That is a huge... Yeah. We're looking at 1,300. To say, I suspect he must be... Wow, we're not at much stronger yet. Or much weaker yet.
No, okay. Not yet, but it's definitely close. So this turn now is really, it's the last chance. He now has to do some very good damage, or else he's pretty much toast, I think.
I don't know. What do you even think you do here? Do you just retreat? Or, I mean, like, you try to get... I mean, you have routing potential, I guess, but not a lot of it because there are spears everywhere, so... I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem here. There's not so much routing potential. So there's a nice group of 3 has status that might potentially be routed, but all of these spears and still that chariot at the rider's seat is even still there. So it's...
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, it's looking bleak, guys. It's looking bleak. Hazard says retreat is the play. I don't know. The only thing that I think it's a lose-lose either way, because even if you take time to retreat, there's so much presence in this area that Rome can just go for the hunt. Like, look at this movement that you got from here, from these spears, right? So you'd have to retreat so far back. I mean, you could retreat across the bay into Thapsus, I suppose. That's a viable option. But then what do you have there? You just have a massive Roman force that is certainly going to be able to take Utica, at least Utica, possibly, very likely Lilybaeum as you build up. And then finally officially secure Leptis Magna. So then you're down 3 cities, and you're going to have to claw from that position, which, I mean, I suppose you could do, but that is looking tricky to me.
Yeah, I don't think that is happening. If Alcaraz has to retreat so far that Utica and Lilybaeum fall, that's just it.
Not a single...
I love now seeing love seeing another ballista being built in his palace, because ballistas do huge damage in this situation.
Yeah. I agree. It's I'd actually like to see another ballista being built in Faventia as well. Oh, that's great. All right, with the elephant moving up. Stompy boy is doing some stomping. Time for some stomping action. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I think everything's just going to get freaking murdered next turn. But hey, Alcaras going down in a blaze of glory. Sticking it out, not surrendering. Yeah, he's doing, like, no damage to this Hestastus. Gross.
Yeah. The problem for Alcaraz here is, again, he just doesn't have that many units now. See, so he has the orders, but most of his units have already attacked, and he just killed one chariot so far.
Yeah, he lost 5 units last turn. He's gonna kill maybe 2 units this turn, and exactly all of his units are gonna be bunched up, and there are still 2? No, there's still a chariot in the region. So I mean, Nizar with those routes in this game has been just putting in massive amounts of work. All right. Looks like we've had some damage. I think I might be lagging a little bit. Or maybe the connection's not great. But we have a stompy boy stomping around time. I mean, this is solid kills here. We're actually... So, we're both wrong. We're getting kill number 4. So, okay. Cool. Love to see it. Love to see it.
Yeah, number 4 is good. Number 4 is good.
Number 4 is pretty solid. Great. Great news. Nothing... Not too much in the region. Nothing scary like a ballista in the region. The onager can't hit anything. Oh, actually it can. It hit this archer. Wow, nice range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, because it's on a hill. That makes sense.
R is like one. Nizar is like one ballista short of victory, because a ballista here against that group, and that's it.
You know, I hate to say it, but, you know, it's turn 90 on this game right now. And you know what Alcaraz really freaking needs? He needs a spear or 2 lying around. Because the odd chariot every other turn has really been fucking him up. So to go and, yeah, because even just, without even worrying about killing the chariots, just sprinkling in a spear in these formations would really throw a wrench in those route chains. So going almost the entire game without a single spear is really shitty, unfortunately.
Well, he has no marked talent at the tech tree, but let's see if he has time to get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so four kills. 4 kills that Alcaraz was able to do here. Pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Still, of course, this is trading in favor of Rome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly, I mean, definitely if you're receiving 5 kills, it's certainly not bad to pass the ball back after dealing 4 kills in return. Certainly not bad at all. So hopefully that'll work out for Nizar. Sorry. Hopefully that'll work out for Alcaraz. But we'll see what Nizar does in response. I mean, it's going to feel really shitty if he has to back off again, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think he will be doing that.
Look at this highlight. I love this from Nizar, though. You know, he's thinking, look at this. He's getting stirrups. No spears in Carthage all game. He's making those chariots work, so I love this. No reason not to grab stirrups. I don't think it will play a factor too much in the game, but still, I like the pick. I like his thinking.
Yeah, just thinking there.
All right, see, here we go.
He's waiting
freaking route change.
For another route.
Yeah, there it is. There it is, and there it is. Another one.
You see how fast Nizar is? It's
oh
his
my
turn,
God.
and then he starts routing within like seconds.
This is it. I think this is the last round. There should. I don't know. He could even force march into these woods back here and get a solid 8 damage attack. He can pick his direction, but he can... If he sends this commander spear... Oh, no, this hero spear. Send his hero spear in the back line. Either one, really. Doesn't even matter. He'll kill that elephant. And then he'll have to figure out a way to cross the river. He doesn't even have to. He can just send other stuff. This could very well be the final round of the game. We have an archer coming out.
And
we have a master poet! It's fine. It doesn't state there. Of course you're not building units. I don't even know his ability to rush. Yeah, he doesn't even have
This is without Nizar using the Sword of the Gods even.
That's true! That's probably because he doesn't want Filthy to say that chance made him win this whole game. I'm just messing with you, Filthy. But yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, he fought this whole battle without Sword of the Gods. He could have. It could have been even bloodier.
Another elephant down, and the last elephant will also be going down for sure.
Funny. Oh, another one going down too. 5 kills. Yeah, so 5.
Alcaras is now showing my sweeper.
Yeah. Exactly. His kill potential is now just down to his archer ability to focus fire. And I mean, that's it. I think that's the definitive attack here, because he would need pretty much the entirety of the archers that he currently has to kill basically just any one unit. Yeah.
So the problem is Alcaraz has 0 melee units left currently. So he has a Alcaras or whatever that was, 5 archers and onagers. So
yeah. Wow.
No melee.
Wow, fantastic. Very impressive. I was really curious if, because I had a feeling coming into this session, that Nizar was going to back off and try to, build himself back up for a second strike. I didn't think he was going to keep going, right? So the thing I was most curious about coming into this session was if whatever time, I think we've had about, let's take a look here. We can look at the timeline. We've had about 30 turns. Well, 23. 23 turns since the last battle began, right? So about 20 turns or so, right? Yeah. So, of build-up. I was really curious if Alcaras was going to be able to get himself into a strong defensible position in those 20 turns, preventing Nizar from being able to launch a successful and definitive attack, which then would have allowed Alcaras, basically the game time to kind of come from behind. But I just don't see that happening. I think this is it.
Yeah, it's very hard to see now what Alcaraz might do, so he can get a kill here by firing.
We are now
1 unit, maybe 2. So.
Yeah, we are now exactly. He could only kill probably just 1 unit, maybe 2. Yeah, like you said, we are at 1200 power score to 370. That is just a definitive. That's a decisive difference. Interesting. And you know what Nizar could do to, if he wanted to be really cheeky? He could take these 2 scouts, put them right here, and maybe put something on this marsh. And that prevents anything from Thapsus and Gadir from even getting up here. Alright, so there's the 1 kill. There's the 2 kill. Is there a third one? No, there is not. So, alright. Doing the most he can.
1 unit left. So.
Yep. Doing
2 kills. Yeah, 2 kills is very good with this, with what level he has. But yeah.
Doing the most he can.
What is he doing with the workers there? Will he be upgrading them?
I mean,
roading. Let's see.
He's just, I mean, that would be an idea. If you upgrade him, it protects that very nice, well-promoted archer. Certainly, but, I mean, we have one onager coming out next turn. He could be thinking, I just need my onagers, I just need my rocks!
Well, the rocks are very helpful for sure.
The rocks are very helpful. I don't know they're going to be this helpful, but they are helpful.
No, probably not this helpful, because next turn also Nizar will definitely be hitting Mika with a couple of hits.
Yes, and there it is.
It's a GG.
Wow, everybody, that's it. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it.
That's an amazing game.
Amazing game. Well played, Nizar. Oh, absolutely fantastic. Oh, wow. Delightful. I can't wait to talk about this game. I'm going to hop over to the Hanging Gardens to chat it out with our friends.
How do I get to hear them?
Yeah, come join us. Come join us for the Pote game by hopping in Hanging Gardens in Discord. So go to.
Do I hang up and use them?
Yeah. So I'm gonna hang up this call and I'm just gonna jump down there. Hello, everybody. Hello, Alcaras. Hello, Nizar. Congratulations, Nizar. Great game. How are you feeling, buddy?
Holy... Oh, wait, I can't curse. Holy moly. Oh, my God. That took all of my power and energy.
It was intense.
Yeah.
Nizar...
No, Alcaraz, you played super well. You gave me a hard time. I was not happy.
You played very well as well. Congratulations, sir, and good luck in the rest of the tournament. Really impressive play.
Yeah, very well played by both sides. Impressive attack, bold aggression from Nizar, but we would expect nothing less from you. We were talking about that earlier on in this session, that you tend to be a bold, aggressive player. And Alcaraz, however, I do have to commend you for your initial defense of Leptis Magna, because Nizar coming in there, it definitely looked a little dubious even all the way back then, and we were joking in chat how you guys essentially, it was like turn 70-ish, and how you guys basically beat each other back all the way back to turn 30 in terms of power score. If you look at the power dip on the military score, that turn 68 battle, you guys just both nosedive, even though it seemed like a decently strong advantage for Nizar going in. And so that, kudos to both of you for that fight.
Yeah, really well done. And yeah, we kind of, in 6 turns, I think from turn 67 to 73, just like obliterated each other completely.
Yeah.
All right.
What can I say? Fortuna favors the bold, they say. And I kind of, it's Alcaraz. I had to do something spectacular to be able to somehow get myself into, well, it's considered the semifinal next.
Mm-hmm.
I presume? Yes. So I had
so, yeah.
to bring everything I have, all the tricks in my bags, just to hope that maybe, just maybe, I can get there.
Yeah. Well, actually, Nizar, your reward for winning this match is going to be going up against Aaron, so good luck with that, because, I mean, that's a terrifying fight to fight, but I so much looking forward to seeing it. And Alcaraz, you get to roll around in the dirt with all of your Discord friends in the elimination bracket, so that's going to be a fun time. A very surprising outcome. We have another loss for Carthage here, which is interesting. So Alcaraz, yeah, you're trying to mainline your way Carthage all the way to the finish line. It didn't quite work out in this particular match.
Yeah, no, sorry. Gave some very early pressure with Champs, managed to steal the central city site from me, which was really painful, and that ended up haunting me all game because I founded Leptis Magna. I should have founded it a couple tiles west, not thinking that onagers on those hills would be very deadly, because I thought I was going to grab both central city sites, but he did a really great job of expanding very quickly, even against Carthage. So yeah.
Yeah, I really like the military output in Rome. Obviously, that's easy to pull off with, the Roman advantage there. But really, I think you also did good resources. I think, one thing we noted that Alcaras relied heavily on gold income, and you were both relying pretty heavily on gold income at the start with your capitals. But Nizar pivoted away from gold pretty quickly on, because one thing we were talking about in the first session was how if you were both focusing on gold income, that was going to be a net advantage for Alcaris long term because he had the better income due to traders. But Nizar started pivoting away into economic development of getting his resource economy online a little bit sooner than Alcaris did. So that actually, I think, worked out to be a net advantage for you, Nizar. So good play there. Even though you were aggressive, you also still kind of kept your economy humming along. Science was the big concern for us when we were watching, because Nizar was lucky enough to have his intelligent ruler on the throne for quite a while. But once that dropped, if you look at the science chart, Nizar took a huge dip. So there was a question with Nizar not winning that first battle of if that was going to give Alcaris the time he needed to kind of build up and then eventually overtake. So kudos for coming in at this opportunity, Nizar, and just making the bold play and trying to knock him down.
It's like a really interesting tech path as well, where you went straight for hydraulics and also got portcullis, it looks like. For some reason, it's showing me your tech tree right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
I went for stirrups. I was heading for stirrups, and to make it even more fun for you, I was heading for pole arms, pikemen.
Yeah.
That was my goal directly. Okay. Oh, you have too many archers? Fine. I'll just bring horsemen and run you down. Oh, you have war elephants? Fine. I'll bring you pikemen. Have fun with that. That's what I was thinking the whole
You did a
time.
really good job punishing me for not having any spearmen, and I never had tempo to research Valix. So
it was devastating.
Very good job
the
punishing
amount
that.
of like 4 or 5 plus character route change you got into the fight was insane.
I could have done a lot more. I did so many tactical blunders.
Classic.
I mean, you guys saw it, classic Nizar.
Yeah.
So many tactical blunders, but because I had strong military output, I was like, okay, yeah, fine. I'm not going to let my morale hit down. I kind of saw blood in the water. I was like, okay, I'm just going to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
And with the city, Leptis Magna, like I was looking at it and I was like, okay, fine. If you're not going to let me have it, no one has it.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually think that, honestly, I do think that with the smarter play, Alcaris, you guys traded that back and forth a little bit. And then ultimately, I think it was the smarter play for both of you to just decide to keep it neutral, because you were just going to indefinitely trade a unit back and forth if you kept taking it.
Yeah, I didn't see a way to push him out there until, like, my plan was to get onagers, but I never was able to get the critical mass of onagers that I needed to become a fortress. Mm-hmm. His second attack was well timed. Had he waited 5 or 6 more turns, I maybe would have had 7 or 8 onagers, and it would have been a very much harder for him to break in. But he never let me get that critical mass of onagers that I needed to fort up.
Which was what was so cool to see about Nizar's attack. I had a very loud and amazing reaction to it because it was so bold. You went so deep with that hero onager at first, but I think that paid off because it caused Alcaris. Well, first of all, you killed 2 onagers with that when he only had 4. So then Solver and I were talking about that. Like, maybe even if Nizar loses like 6 units here and can't finish this fight, well, what he's doing is he's keeping Alcaris' onager momentum down, and that pays off long term.
That was the goal. I saw with Porticalis, I saw that he was building onagers. I'm like, okay, well, if he puts a bunch of them everywhere, there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. I'm just gonna have to win a point victory, and I'm not gonna last 3 more weeks of trying to get a point victory. I'm just not gonna do it. So I went with my chariot, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna make sure you can't rush it. I'm gonna make sure I burn everything to the ground. And that was the plan. The plan was to dwindle him down, because I noticed that the food prices, iron prices, everything was going up so high. So I knew he was so short on everything. All I had to do was make sure that all of his orders are wasted on military actions rather than building up.
Yeah.
My economy will survive.
Yeah. That's something we were talking about. We were saying that at this stage, it basically advanced. Even when you blitzed in with that and you killed the 2 onagers, I think I made a comment like, I guess even if Nizar lost all 9 units that went in or whatever, of course that would certainly suck. But even just the effort of Alcaras killing all 9 of the units, I still think long term would have benefited Nizar, even if he's just got a couple onagers out of it. So yeah, I mean, kudos to you. I think learning when to attack, I think learning when to tough something out and just suffer the fact that you're gonna take a shitload of losses, whatever, and just making the attack anyway, pulling the trigger is a very, very difficult skill to learn, and it's easy to get wrong, as we've seen in this tournament. Like, I've messed up my fight, so it's like, yeah, it's cool. You played this very well, Nizar. I have to straight up commend you. You did a very good job.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
excellent use of the chariot to punish the mass archers. People have not done that in the tournament, so it was really great to see someone say, all right, you want to go mass archers? Well, I'm just going to rout you with chariot. What are you going to do? And that was absolutely the right response, and I just never had tempo for phalanx. So,
Even with phalanx, I think my Hastati would have come in and cleared them out. So
yeah, I mean, Hastati are really good against phalanx, and you got 4 laws very, very quickly.
Yeah, but
that was
that's
your
the
initial
thing.
timing.
Exactly. It's not the fact that you wouldn't have been able to kill the spears. It's that the route potential would have been just so much more reduced. And getting those multi-kills is what's such a big deal in this type of arena, too. So, yeah, kudos, man. And I was actually it's funny, literally it's turn 91 right now. I remember I was just talking on turn 90 that for Alcaras, it ended up being a really shitty thing to have to go the entire game without ever getting spears online, because, I mean, I think, how many, I want to take a look at this, I'm curious. How many chariots did Nizar actually make? Why can't I? Nizar made 7 chariots, which is quite a bit. But yeah, man, they put in work. I think nearly every
13 Hastasis and 15 spearmen.
Yeah. But I think those 7 chariots, I think nearly every single one of them got at least a 3-kill route chain.
Yeah, before dying.
before dying. So, I mean, that's a lot of kills. That's a lot of kill potential.
Yeah, 58 to 38 military units produced. That's a huge difference.
Yeah,
and I was not being greedy. I was trying to build as many military units as I could. So.
You did, and I kudos to you. Like, there was a point where eventually we thought, like, I think there was a couple of times you built like maybe a slinger out of Stapsis that felt maybe a little unnecessary. But early on, from your 2 rider seat, there was a lot of conversation around the idea that you weren't resting on your laurels as Carthage and allowing yourself to sit on a nice big tribal army when facing off against Rome. So I definitely think that military buildup was exactly what allowed you to defend yourself at Leptis Magna, because I think if you had like half the number of slingers or archers, there's no way I think you would have won that.
Yeah, I just couldn't match the 4-law timing, unfortunately, and was like way behind pace.
Yeah.
My science rate was abysmal after my leader died, and it really, really hurt, especially since his intelligent leader lived until like turn 57. You can look at the science graph there, and it's just like I'm 600 science behind at that point. I don't think I catch up until basically 2 turns ago. So.
Yeah, no, you did have a little bit of deficit. Certainly, of course, it always feels bad to lose a ruler to an event early on. That can always sour the morale there. But no, I think you played a very good game in spite of that. And I definitely think the early military buildup certainly kept you in the game. So I know you tend to prefer your workers first and your economic focus, but I think you did a nice adjustment here.
Yeah, I was worried he was just going to march over early on because he had a lot of units early, and they were champs, so my mercs wouldn't do much. And like I was just worried he was going to march over and say hello right away, especially with Zealot, just because he had an amazing map. I mean, sorry, especially with Rome, which is so mobile.
Yeah, I think it was a smart play. All right, well, thanks both of you.
I do have 2 questions before we go.
Of course, yeah. Let's talk it out. What's up?
Question number 1. Why did you abdicate your Zealot?
I know! Oh my god! I know!
rebels.
Thank you for thinking of that!
I had 2 rebels. It was a mistake. I should have just eaten the rebels, but especially since it was new ruler, I wasn't familiar with that event chain. I just saw 2 rebels, and I was like, I can't deal with 2 rebels. You had just attacked as well, so I didn't want 2 rebels in my backyard. I also had 4 rebels for the slums, and I was just very, very tired of dealing with rebels. So it was absolutely a mistake. I should have stayed with the zealot. I didn't really have that many civics either, but just being able to rush with training would have helped. And of course, enlists could have been huge in terms of swing. So that was definitely a
Oh
mistake.
yeah.
All right, we had
I think if
missed
you
the
enlisted
event.
one of my Histatos,
Yeah, it would have been a very different
just
game.
one, that would have been completely different. Question number
but-
2.
But yeah, the zealot, the rebels. I think I'm a little too not scared, but like I try to avoid rebels too much, and like it's sometimes worth taking rebels and just dealing with them. Go ahead. Second question.
Or even just the ability to rush with training, because that was just around the time that you were ready to start rushing out your elephants.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, sorry. Nizar, great question. What's your second question?
Why did you go Carthage? I picked the
Oh.
map. I picked the map. I got the order pick. Why would you go Carthage knowing fully well I can counter you with anything that has champions?
I wanted to, I mean, I told myself at the start of the tournament, I'm going to play Carthage throughout because I think they're incredibly strong, and I wanted to force someone to beat me with Carthage. So, yeah.
I mean, that pretty much sums it up. I remember that conversation. He said he was going to play Carthage until someone beat him. And, I mean, he won his first 2 games, so it was working out. I don't blame him. I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure had I not lost my leader early, this could have looked very different because I would have beat you to 4 laws and had that huge pile of civics on top. And yeah, like that I didn't get. I just didn't know that event could kill my leader, which really, really sucked. That tribal clearing event because I dodged. So I got a tribal clearing event. I've always dodged the tribal clearing events, but now they've made it so you can't dodge them. And I didn't reach my turn 19 science until turn 41, something like that. So it's an event where you duel it's a Thracian specific event.
Oh, the duel event.
Yeah, and I looked it up later, and I had a 33% chance of dying, and I died. I had no idea you could die because I had only seen that event maybe once or twice before, and I always won or drew the duel. I didn't know you could die off of that. Because it just says gather your courage, so I had no idea. So I was completely surprised that I lost my leader, and then I agonized over scholar, zealot, or builder. And then I went with zealot because I was like, I'm scared of your Rome movement, but I think I probably should have gone builder because I hadn't built any
Builder
workers
would
yet,
have been
and
the
that
way.
would have helped. Yeah, where scholar was also reasonable, but builder would have supercharged my economy because I don't think I had built more than 1 worker at that point.
Yeah,
Or
I was
even-
thinking.
I think I just had my starting worker.
I remember that decision. I was surprised you didn't go Builder too. I think Zealot does make sense considering the ecosystem of the match, but I remember being surprised you didn't actually pick Builder.
Yeah. I think I was like, I don't want to be greedy, but like I think I needed to be a little greedy there.
Yeah.
Because I like, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely
think,
the abdication was a mistake. I should just eaten the rebels. And then not going builder was a mistake. Obviously, not knowing that the tribal clearing event can kill your leader, also a mistake. Like I was like, oh, I don't want to take a vengeful courtier because I know he can kill me, so I don't want to risk death there. So I was like, oh, I'll duel because it just says gather your courage, and like I've won, I know you can win the duel. So yeah, oops.
So honestly, I think going to scholar was the greedy play, because when I looked at it, when I saw that you abdicated to the scholar, the first thing
They
I
were
thought
foolish
of
scholar.
was, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still a scholar at the end of the day. When I looked at it, I was like, okay, he's trying to do 2 things. 1, raise me up in science, because the best way to deal with Rome is to out-tech them, period. That's it.
Yeah, the scholar
And-
only gave me like 2 or 3 more science because he was foolish. He had educated, and then I got an event where, like, if you watch my VOD, I was like, oh, this guy got foolish. Again, because I was afraid of rebels. I didn't want to take Zoroastrian descent, and then instead I just RNG'd. He could be foolish or intelligent or cruel, and I RNG'd into foolish. And then he took the throne.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So he took the throne, and I should have just dealt with the Zoroastrian descent in my capital. I had a governor there ready to go, no problem, 100 training, clear it. And then later, 2 rebels versus scholar attack. I should have just taken the 2 rebels, cleared them, and stayed with the zealot.
So it definitely
there were
seems
definitely misplays.
like the gods favored Nizar here because we also, speaking of events, we also were noting the fact that Alcaras got the mysterious sword on his
And it
zealot.
never fucking procced.
You know, it sat on his zealot ruler for like 20 years, and then get this, Alcaras, I don't know if you noticed it, but the hero that is currently on the throne has the sword of the gods, but he got the mysterious sword, and it popped like 1 or 2 turns later. It like popped immediately.
Yeah, it never popped for me. I was really annoyed by it because usually I just plop the shrine down, and this time I was like, I'm going to take it because I'm expecting early battle, and then it never popped. So, oh well.
Too
Sometimes
bad that hero was a governor the whole time. Not even. I didn't even get to use that sword.
Yeah. So sometimes the gods shine their favor on one champion, and such is
It was
life
a really
in the
great
old
game. We
world.
played really, really well.
Yeah.
So, good luck in the rest, and good luck against Aaron. That'll be a
Oof, that's
interesting
gonna be a fun
matchup to
one.
watch. Maybe Scientific and I will get to cast it. We'll see.
Oh, that'll be
to
fun.
watch.
That'll be fun. All right.
It would be lovely to have you guys cast because I've been training with him this morning, and I think I don't want to
You've been playing all
overpower
day.
myself, but I think I got it.
You've been playing all
one
day.
question for you, if I can, Nizar. What was your plan and strategy going into this, especially after you saw me pick Carthage?
Good question. That is a very good question. So when I started with my leader, let's see, what was the leader? Judge, and I went intelligent. So
Yeah, Judge told me you're going to do 4 law timing, so I was suspecting that.
It wasn't about the four laws. It was more of, okay, I'm gonna build this economy as fast as I can. I'm gonna get that science as fast as I can, because the only way to lose as Rome is to not have science, and you don't really have science input or output from anything that you can get. Okay, and I don't know if you've noticed, I was being very cautious expanding, super cautious, because I thought you went tactician leader.
Carthage, yeah.
Yes, tactician Carthage. If you were tactician Carthage, there was nothing I could do about it. So the goal was, okay, I'm a pop up second champion city, and I'm gonna keep building military out of that city, never even build a worker. If you had a tactician leader. And I saw that he had a schemer, it was a big sigh of relief. I was like, okay, yeah, I have it in the bag now. Because the worst thing about tactician, if you have 2 units, that's 50% of your strength gone.
Yep.
The only way to beat it is to have more military. So when I saw you going Carthage, I was immediately thinking, okay, he's gonna go tactician. He's gonna do what I think Uro did against Fluffy, and this is the only solution I have. That was the line of thinking, to be honest with you. But
okay,
from everything after that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna choose the field of the battle, and I'm gonna choose where we do it, and I want to have control of everything happening, and it just worked out. I think that Leptis Magnite, like you were defending it super hard, but I think maybe you shouldn't have defended it that hard. You needed me to get into your territory a little bit more, force me away from my supply chain for you to be able to, finish the game.
yeah.
That's what
I think I definitely made a mistake when I went colonies and didn't think about which city was going to own the tiles I bought. I just bought tiles to like connect stuff and forgot that if Leptis falls, then I've just made a lot of territory and disconnected. I should have been a little more careful with that. I also don't know that I should have gone colonies because I wasn't able to swap to serfdom for a long time. But yeah.
The forts you built, they helped me more than they helped you.
Yeah, because once Leptis Magna, I mean, the problem was Leptis Magna was founded, so like you could hit. My original goal was I wanted to found the central city, but you had enough troops early on that I couldn't do that, and I also had gone north instead of the middle. I should have just I don't know, maybe should have gone for the middle. Like early decisions matter quite a bit.
I don't think you made a mistake going in the middle. I think it just was a little bit greedy, not thinking I had a scout in there.
Yeah, I mean, for those who forget, back at the first part of this game, the first match, Carthage is the one who was just about to clear this tribal site, and then Rome swooped in, got the clear, and ultimately ended up killing one of the tribal units on the way out. So
Yeah.
there
Like,
was
I
some
saw you clearing it the
early
whole
contest.
time.
Yeah, but I mean, I expected as Carthage, I should be able to take both sides, both central sites, because I should out clear you, speed wise. So, but you did a really good job of clearing very quickly and having a lot of units early. Like sometimes Rome players will just like build 2 or 3. You had like 5 or 6, and I was like, oh my god, there's so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's the appropriate response to Carthage. I mean, there's always that question of, oh, what do I do against all these units? I mean, you got to take your champion city, you get that combat bonus, and then you got to do the most important thing, which is build a shitload of units and like actually use them. And I think Nizar, you executed that very well here, and it was enabled you to exert that map pressure and go on to bully Alcaras for pretty much most of the game, really.
Yeah, no, good game, Alcaraz. You gave me a hard time. You gave me a really, really hard time. So, me and my dog are gonna cuddle. We're gonna celebrate this victory, and I hope to see you in the finals
Likewise, good luck in the
for
rest
the
of the tournament.
revenge.
Or like,
Thank you.
all right, good luck to both of you guys. Thanks again for playing. I'm gonna hop out of this call to close out the stream. Solver, if you want to join me in the next channel to close out the stream, you're welcome. But my headphones are giving me a headache.
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
I'm barely coherent right now. Also, so yeah, thank you
Okay.
everyone for playing.
Yeah, thank you very much for co-hosting, Solver. It was a pleasure to have you around for the last 2 sessions. Yeah, I'm going to dip out and close out the stream now. Thanks, everybody. And again, very well played to both players. All right, everybody, that is the stream. Ugh, sorry. It can be a burden to wear a headset for me sometimes. But anyway, so yeah, that is the stream. That was the game. I hope you all enjoyed the session. Very, very impressive play here from Nizar. I suppose some players not what the outcome that some would have expected. Very strong defense from Alcaras at Leptis Magna, but he just couldn't hold out long term. So we have Alcaraz headed down into the lower bracket to fight for survival. And we have Nizar advancing forward to fight on another champion in the tournament. Very great game. Fantastic pleasure to cast. Thanks again to Solver for casting. Thanks again for Fluffy and Soren and Filthy Robot and all of the friends from Discord to tune in and join in on the conversation. And please don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe if you're on YouTube after the fact watching this tournament. I'm Siontific, and this has been the Old World Community Tournament. See you next time, guys.